Welcome to Let's Talk Jets Radio.
Mr. Primetime.
Cheers. Ready for some civilized Jets talk?
Yes, sir. Look at you wearing a Jets hat on the stream. We're bringing in Jets gear.
I forgot, my bad.
I think you got to turn your mic up. Maybe I gotta turn mine up. I can't. Is your mic up louder?
You can't hear me?
Now I can. Maybe it was mine.
I pour my drink, that's why.
So, what's up, everybody? A couple quick things before we go into all of this Becton stuff. Thank you to everybody that came up to us at the green and white scrimmage, man. That was wild. We had such a good time. We're going to be doing a tailgate in J21 on the opening day, but prime time, that was pretty cool, man, watching practice and meeting everybody.
Yeah, I say it every time. It never gets old. It's always humbling just meeting new fans and just seeing people that actually listen to us and our rants and shit like that. It's incredibly humbling. So just thank you guys for all the support. It means a lot.
Yeah, so thank you. Like I said, the home opener will be in J21. We'll have a tailgate. We'll make videos about it. We'll tell everybody what's going on, just so you guys know.
I'm going all out, dude, with food. I'm going all out.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be doing that. Secondly, we got a fundraiser going on. We got the Let's Talk Jets koozies. We have cans. We have bottles. They're one for $6, two for $10, and $1 from everyone that's sold will go to Defensive Line Foundation, which Solomon Thomas and his family run. If you don't know about the foundation, please check it out. It's a very sad story, but they're trying to overcome it and turn that negative into a positive and doing a lot of really good things. So please check out, like I said, $6 a piece, 2 for 10. And they're pretty cool, man. I like this one the most, to be honest with you. I like
That's my favorite one too.
The little jersey one. So
I was using that one at the green and white.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. So good seeing everybody. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for everybody watching our videos too. Like I did a video a couple hours, got like 110 comments on it already. So I'll be up all night trying to
I had quite a few on mine last night, so thank you guys for all that, keeping me up. Appreciate it.
And then we'll bring in the third amigo. What's up, friend?
Yo.
What is he doing? Is
know.
He on? The hell?
Looks like he's in trance.
Yo.
What's up, man? Oh boy.
Oh shit, here we go.
Not a good way to start the show right there.
Problems.
All right, so I guess prime time, what we'll do is we'll just say hello to everybody first because we got everybody saying, what's up, submissions? How you going? How's it going? We haven't played a preseason game. The madness begins. This is true. What do we do? Jets Unleashed. We're going to discuss all of that. The good news is we have to relax and move forward. Yes. Christy is back. Muppets and Puppets are back. What's up, Green Dog? Good to see you.
It's gonna be a long night.
Just everybody's in rare form already. Tyrone was giving us a death stare when he came on. He did. He looked. He did. Afram, what's up, man? How you doing? Let's get to the bad news. There's bad news and good news. We'll find a way to make a positive out of this.
What's the good news? Start with that. Enlighten me.
There's plenty of good news, man.
What's that?
It's August 9th.
August 9th. Be August 10th.
Yep. And when's the season start tomorrow?
One day closer for me going back to work. So
does the season start tomorrow? We'll be fine. So I guess what we'll do is the good news. The good news is, well, we'll go into all the bad news first. And obviously, this is terrible news all the way around. It's terrible for the player. It's terrible for the team. It doesn't mean the season's over. It doesn't mean the Jets aren't going to win games. It doesn't mean that the Jets can't recover from this. But it's going to be challenging. And the first thing from a player perspective, from Mekhi Becton, this is very difficult, dude, because now he is 2 years in a row of being out for the year. You can't expect anything from him next year. If you could bring him back, but you're going to be like, hey, you know what? Your competition.
Do you honestly feel he's ever putting on a Jets uniform again? Because at this point, there's going to be finger pointing between his agents wondering why he was on the field when he was clearly injured. He was limping around all over the place. So why was he on the field? And from the Jet side of it, they're going to say, well, you didn't take care of your body. You weren't ready to go. So like you just said, 2 seasons in a row, he has been on the field. Even if he does play next year, how is there any confidence to give him a long-term contract? His future It's done.
No,
It's done.
there's not. It's his career as a Jet right now is you're coming back as competition. You'll get out of respect for him. He's under contract. They'll probably bring him back with a chance to play, but expect nothing. Like you got to find a replacement now. Now you have the trickle down of this is so many levels, dude. But we'll just stick with him for now. We'll see if Tyrone's connection's any better. What's up, man? His connection is terrible. Yeah. So his connection is not good. So the thing is, it's just we'll start with him. It's like so we'll start at the beginning. He reported to mandatory minicamp, not where he was supposed to be, which is on him. Completely agree with
after missing OTAs.
Right. Because of the baby and whatever else. His decision to not go is voluntary. So that's his choice. But he posted all the videos. He was, I'm training. He made his decision to not do that. He came to the mandatory minicamp, not where he was supposed to be. That's a fact. That's been reported all over the place. So that's on him. That's his responsibility as a professional. Do what you're supposed to do. But he had a chance to get back into shape by training camp. But the problem is the way he went about it.
You can't do that.
Yeah, it's
coming for a man that size, coming back from a major injury. If you're going to take 7 months off, and there were reports last year, November, December, he was 400 pounds. He comes back July, he's still 400 pounds. What was he doing for those 7 months?
Yep.
You can step on a scale. Like you said, he's posting videos. He can walk. He can make something nutritious. He can take care of his body. He can control his weight. That's something he can control. The knee may be out of his control. The weight, he can control that. So to not try to connect the dots between him being overweight and the knee being fucked up, it's hard not to do that. So he did this to himself, trying to cram in 7 months of work in 30 days. Every other player, look at the way Carl Lawson attacked his rehab. He's out there looking explosive right now. Becton's not.
No, listen, I'm not disputing that. We had the same concern where it's like you came in, you weren't the way, and everybody's like, you know what, you have, and what we said was you have 5 weeks to figure it out. So he didn't do the right thing. Then he did do the right thing, but you have a crash diet. It's, it is what it is. So it wasn't ideal, but he got down to a weight that he could at least practice and find a way, once you get in the training camp, to get into game shape. Find a way to figure it out and get there. That's all at the prime time. To me, it was like, that's the best you can do. Like, this is where he's at.
It never should have came to that, though.
But it did. But I agree, but he got his weight down to where the Jets as an organization said, you know what? You're cleared to practice. You're cleared to practice. Okay, that's fine. If he's not healthy enough or not in good enough shape to handle the rigors of training camp, then don't take him off the PUP. Keep him on the PUP. Why not do that?
And I'm not going to sit here and try to defend the Jets. When you see a player that is clearly struggling, clearly hurt, you have an obligation to pull him off the field and save that player from himself. Like you always mention with fighters, right? Like sometimes you got to throw in the towel, save a fighter from himself. He was clearly hurt. He should not have been out there. The Jets are not at fault here. But I'm sorry. Becton put himself in this situation by trying to cram all that work into 30 days. He should have been building strength week by week, month by month. Instead, he tried to do it all in 30 days, and it came back to bite him.
No, I agree. Listen, to me, I'm disappointed that he reported whatever weight from mandatory minicamp. And we knew this was going to happen. We talked about this privately. We talked about this because I deal with these with fighters, dude. I deal with this all the time. Like we see it all the time in the gym. So when you try to drop that amount of weight at his size while trying to recover from a serious injury, then it's like, okay, but once he gets into the facility, once he's there, the mistakes he made, you accept them and you acknowledge them. Okay, this is our mold. Like, dude, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, there's fighters that get ready to go into fight camp, or they'll be 3 weeks out. I'm like, bro, you got to lose 27 pounds. And what you do from there, you adjust. Okay, listen, we usually do this kind of conditioning for you. We can't do that now because your body can't handle it. So from there with the Jets, I'm like, you know what? We gotta back off this now. So if you have to stay on PUP an extra week so we can make sure you're stable, fine. If we got to taper back your practice reps, fine. I don't give a shit what the media says. I don't care what the fans say. You gotta say, what is our player at now? And prime time, we went to that Saturday practice. We sat there 3 plays in. I told you he's hurt. He's limping. Something is wrong, right? Did me, you, Chris, we're all sitting there saying the same thing. Like something is wrong. And it's like, all right, he would limp. And the competitor in him, once they put a guy in front of him, like to, hit the bag, you fire off, you do it. And the minute you get done firing off prime time, what did he do?
Dude, he was either on one knee or he was limping. Like, dude, he couldn't put any pressure on his knee half the time. But how much of that, right or wrong, how much of that do you think stems from whatever, right or wrong, the misdiagnosis of the injury, 6 to 8 weeks initially, like you keep pushing it back. We keep pushing it back. Doesn't show up for OTAs. He's not able to be on the field for minicamp. 6 to 8 weeks, 11 months later, he's still not healthy. Like, at what point do you say, you know what, you got to tough it out. You got to be on the field. You got to show us you can do something.
Right. But that's true. Listen, he tried working through it. But at what point do you not diagnose and say, you know what? There's no sense fucking killing this guy in the middle of early August when we wanted to play in September and October. It's a fine line. And this is where the Jets have a medical staff, a training staff, and all these doctors saying, you know what? Okay, we want him to be here, but he's not here. So we've got to change our approach, because if he's limping and getting worse, if he can't put pressure on it, you could be 375 pounds. If you can't keep your balance, you're gonna get pushed off your ass, or you're gonna get beat off the edge, like we saw repeatedly. Was he not getting beat? Like the drills we were watching, dude, he was getting dusted
every time.
So it's like I agree that he's at fault, and we don't agree. I'm completely with him, but I'm not giving the Jets a pass here. I'm not, because you got to first. Well, there's two layers to this. First, you got to protect your investment in him and say, okay, how do we correct what's going on here? Because something's clearly wrong. Secondly, when he reports and you see where he's at, I signed a guy day one of training camp. I'm out trying to make moves now. But that's why they had Riley Reef in here, dude. That's why they had guys here. Instead of nickel and diamond fucking people and maybe we'll know. No, you signed somebody then.
We've all been screaming for months. You got to sign a proven veteran backup tackle. Like it's been known that Becton hasn't been 100%. Solly even said it a month ago when he showed up overweight at mandatory minicamp. Knee's still not 100%. So if you know that there's a chance he might not be on the field week one of training camp, why risk it? And look at what's happening to Zach right now. Every other play, he's running for his life. Like, this doesn't no good. He's the biggest victim in all of this. And that's why I take it so personally with Becton. His negligence and taking all this shit lightly is going to fuck up Zach. It fucks up the trust that Joe Douglas put in him. Yep. Like, it's terrible, dude. And I agree with you, dude. The Jets aren't completely without blame here. But like I said, how far do you keep pushing it back?
No, I'm not pushing it back at all. I'm saying this is a player, like, not every player.
11 months from when he got hurt from a 6 to 8 week injury. At some point, he's got to be out there.
I understand, but while you said that's the perfect world, but if he's not ready for whatever reason, you can't keep trotting him out there and making shit worse. And just he was laboring, man. Like, we saw it firsthand. It's not like we watched it firsthand. Like, some.
You just froze on me. I can't see the chat either. You there? Ah, shit. This is terrible. I can't even see the chat. You're frozen. See, I wish I could answer some comments right now. Unfortunately, I can't see any of them. This is terrible. All right, Tyson just texted me. He's frozen. He's on his way back. Let me log into the YouTube app, see if I can see some of your comments, and I can answer some questions while we wait.
The realm has enjoyed it.
All right. Tyson Roush to the IR. Sam Darnold's fault. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just me right now. If you guys have any questions, just leave them on. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Listen, I understand it's preseason. I'm not saying that the Jets season by any means is over. They can certainly bounce back from this. You can sign a veteran still. I just don't understand why Joe Douglas waited this long. To me, there's no excuse. You knew that you needed a veteran months ago to back up Becton just in case. So I just don't know why they waited this long. You can still bring in Brown. I think somebody else mentioned Bobby Massey. He's still out there. So you have some options, but it just sucks this early, especially when we knew it was going to happen. It was so predictable. Tyson was so heated. His internet cut out. I don't know what's going on here.
Sorry, dude.
I was answering questions on my phone because I can't get it on the computer I'm on right now.
We got bad storms here right now. It's like months shooting here. I got all kinds of shit going on here.
A lot of my area lost power. I was surprised I didn't.
Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I'd probably lose power because it's just like it's nasty as shit outside right there. But it's just this situation. What's up, everybody? This situation is just crazy, man. It's so unfortunate. It's a mess, and I just think I was mad at the media for not asking Salah more questions when he literally mentioned he was limping in there. Like he mentioned he was limping, so it's like, okay, if you see him limping, what was the limp from, and what was your basis saying keep putting him out there? What's the the criteria for letting him play?
At practice, he could barely put pressure on the leg. He was wincing in pain. He was hunched over. How does somebody not pull him off the field at that point?
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't understand how they handled it. And it's now the question is, we could blame, I completely understand where you're coming from, dude. As your responsibility as a professional athlete is in the best shape you humanly can. Coming off an injury, he didn't do that. He tried to do the crash diet, tried to do the crash plan. That didn't work. Then he came to the Jets, and they didn't help him either. They kind of failed as well, I think, in my opinion.
And what sucks so much is that you had so many other guys in that locker room that did go above and beyond putting in that work. Like I mentioned with Carl Lawson and Wilson, even like guys like Denzel Mims. Like these guys have been working their ass off this offseason. And Becton going down, he fucks all of them. Yep.
So now the question is, everybody keeps saying, we got to sign Dwayne Brown. And my question to you is this. Right now, in my world, I want to have my starting five playing together as soon as possible because you only have a couple weeks. You don't see a lot of playoff. You don't see a lot of preseason reps together. So is the best thing to do is to keep George Fant at left tackle and just try to incorporate a new right tackle, or move Fant to right, bring in a left, and you have two guys trying to figure things out. To me, I'd like to keep Fant at left, dude.
George Fant is absolutely staying at left tackle, especially week one. You had Moses, who was starting over him on the right side. So I think clearly they prefer him on the left side. Just based on the way he played last year, he gave up, I think, like 2 sacks or something like that. So he was a dominant left tackle. And I think you have to have the conversation now also about signing him to an extension.
Bingo.
If Becton's not part of your future, I mean, you could be looking at needing 2 tackles next offseason if you don't lock up Fant now. So that's a problem too.
That's exactly what I was going to. So now it's like you have Fant, who's due for a new contract. You said he's the left tackle. You've probably been negotiating with him. And now you're like, oh, by the way, we want you to play right. I'm like, well, like now and he wasn't even he got beat up by Morgan Moses there. To me, I keep him there at left. And that's where the whole Dwayne Brown is. Everybody keeps saying, I understand Dwayne Brown only plays left tackle. So maybe he's not the guy you pursue then. Maybe you say, we can find another right tackle because the Jets have 4 solid linemen. You could put a tight end next to him. You can do whatever you can. But to switch around, put Dwayne Brown at left, Fant at right, and in middle of August, it's kind of risky, man. I'm not sure that's the best way to handle things.
No, you're shuffling too many parts, not to mention you just moved AVT from the left side to the right side. So I think you're just setting Wilson up for failure if you're trying to move that many guys for week one, especially against that Raven defense. It won't work out well.
And I understand the Pro Bowl. I understand all pro. I understand every facet of Dwayne Brown. I'm trying, what's the best combination for the Jets right now? If you guys feel comfortable with, Fant at right tackle, fine. And you bring in Dwayne Brown at left tackle, fine. Then what you're going to have to figure out next year is you got to find left tackle next year because Fant's going to be gone. Because are you going to give him a new contract based as a right tackle when you're just starting left tackle? Like, how do you give him? Like, how do you handle his contract?
Exactly. You'd have both your tackles essentially gone, or Becton at least unproven, Fant a free agent, and McGovern also a free agent. So 3/5 of your offensive line you could be looking to replace next year.
Yeah, and Dwayne Brown, who hasn't even been signed here yet, could probably be like on a 1-year deal. What do you give him? A 1-year deal? He's older. He's 37, 38 years old?
30 years old, I think.
So you could basically be without your right tackle and your left tackle going in next year.
Good times.
Brutal, man. So we'll go to calls, man, and we'll bring people on because, this is obviously the biggest topic. And tell us how you want to handle a tackle position. The other names, I saw people saying you could trade for Dillard. I've seen that a bunch of different places.
Kevin Jenkins, everyone's bringing up.
Yep, who was a 2nd-round pick and hasn't panned out at all. Yeah. So if you guys want to join us and share your thoughts, I see Tyrone's keep trying to get on, but his connection must be terrible because he keeps freezing. So we'll try one more time. Let's see if this is any better now.
Yo. It's constipated.
Yo. Let's see. Can you
hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. Yep.
My signal is horrible, man. Like, I keep going in and out. Like I'm just trying to listen, man. I'm sorry, fellas, but
Yeah,
I can't even. Y'all are freezing up. I'm freezing up.
yeah.
That's crazy. Can you
You're
hear me at
freezing up
all?
now. You're freezing up now. Like you're like in slow.
But
Yeah,
I
it's
want to say one thing before I got to get off here, man. Don't move Fant to right tackle, bro. It makes no sense. Keep him out left, man. Listen, if you're gonna adjust something on the line, adjust one piece. Moving Fant, you're moving too much, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a little thinner, man. You know what I mean? But that's what it is. You can't make a move like that. You know what I'm saying?
I
It's
agree.
just gonna throw the line off. You know what I'm saying? I know one wants Brown, but it doesn't make any sense to try to bring him in and then move Fant to right, because then you got two pieces you got to work on.
Yep.
We're too far in the game, man. I mean, find the right tackle. I mean, I hate this. I hate this for Becton. I hate this for this team. I hate this for Zach. But at the end of the day, Damon Woody had a great tweet. He said, "You know what? Hey, man, ain't no pity parties, man. Keep it moving. Next man up. We know how this is. This is the Jets, baby. So we got to
And
do
there's
what we got to do,
there's
man."
plenty of time, dude. You still have the preseason games. You have, to me, the way I look at it is you have 4 good offensive linemen right now. I consider them all good. You need one
Yeah.
more piece to the puzzle, and if that person is the weak link for whatever reason, you can find ways to play call it around it and build around it and add help to his side. You can put a tight end over there, running back in the backfield. You do all kinds of shit to help him out, but it's not the end of the world. But I agree with you, dude. Switching both these guys, putting Fant on
Too
the right,
much.
it's
It sucks because like we actually have a line there. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to just piece guys together. We had a decent line. Chuma Doke, I don't see him being the answer. I know people say
nope.
he could be. I don't see that. McDermott coming back, I don't see him being. I just don't see it. So I think Joe Diaz, the new guy he just signed, I don't know nothing about the kid. I didn't get a chance
Nope.
to really look at him today. But he has to find the piece, man. He really does,
But
because I
see,
think that the line being solid is only going to help Zach's production. I think that being able to run the football is very important this season. We got tight ends, so like Tyson said, you can mask anything. But if a weakness, Tyson, is a weakness. So if that
yep.
chain is weak, you already know people are going to exploit that, man.
Yeah, but
And
Tyrone,
it's scary,
but
man.
this also falls on Joe Douglas. We've been having these conversations for 3 months about you need depth at offensive tackle. We've been saying it over and over and over. They brought in Riley Leaf. They brought other guys. We've been talking about it. And Joe Douglas didn't do it. He took a calculated chance by getting it to this far when George Fant was coming off injury, and so was Becton. Right? Prime time. I mean, both your tackles are coming off injury, and you had Adoga, McDermott, and Mitchell.
Dude, we've been talking about it since before the draft. I thought Ike Ekwonu was in play at 4. That's how big of a need I thought the offensive line, in particular, a tackle was. So to not address it at all after not drafting one, just crazy. I mean, I know they took Mitchell, but 4th-round pick, you're not expecting him to play as a rookie. I think that'd be crazy.
And the thing is, too, it's like you're looking for, you want to win this year, but you're also trying to build your foundation for the future. Right now, if you move Fant to right tackle, your left tackle is not on the roster. It's not gonna be Becton. It's not gonna be Dwayne Brown next year. And fans could be like, wait, I'm playing right tackle now. I want to get paid. It's
Hey, I do got a question, man. Listen, my signal's going in and out, so I want to ask you guys a question real quick. Do you play Zach this weekend? Because I don't think you should. I know he needs to get some
He'll
reps
hand the
in.
ball off 3 times, and that's it.
You'll probably see a series,
Huh?
maybe series.
He'll hand the
Nothing
ball
crazy.
off 3 times, maybe 1 dump off. That's it.
I listen, man. I mean, I know what I was seeing reports today at practice, man. They were in the backfield, man. I think they said he would have got sacked 5 of the 6 dropbacks, man. I don't want him on the field getting hurt till you fix that problem.
I'll give you my answer. If George Fant can't play left tackle, if he can't play, and Becton's already out, then I wouldn't play him either. Because then it's like, all right, you're playing without both your tackles. Then I would be like, prime time, run the ball 3 times, get off the field. Like, all right, you came out of the stadium, you came out of the locker room, you did your, but that's the risky proposition there, man.
It's scary, man. And because at the end of the day, man, in the Becton news, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It really bothered me, man. Like, I was like, man, because I really wanted to see this kid play, but I mean, and I'm not gonna bash the kid. I love the kid, man. I really do, and I hope the kid comes back. But at the end of the day, at some point, man, you guys got to move forward. That's why everyone was talking about drafting something in the draft, and now you have a situation like this where boom, but it worked out the way it worked out. But Joe D, he has a little bit of money. He got to find the right tackle that's suitable for the season, that's serviceable. He doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be better than what we have on the roster right now. Because the guys on the roster right now, I just don't think will get it done. And I think that if we don't have that fixed by the first game of the season, it's going to be disservice. And we
Well,
can
it's
mess
not even.
around.
But
We
you
have a
also got to
tough
keep in
schedule.
mind too. Not even fixed by the first game of the season. You want to get that right tackle there so AVT can develop some kind of chemistry with him. You got to keep in mind AVT's
Yeah.
still learning this shit too. So it's like he's learning it, and he's got to learn to get used to guys sitting next to him. So there's a lot of moving parts here, man. It's just.
It's messed up, bro. It hurts.
Not
Like, you know,
ideal.
I think everybody got the same feeling, man. Like, you know, dude, this is a massive blow. I mean, massive. I mean, I wasn't expecting Becton to just come in but in a run game, he was just gonna be so damn dominant, man. You know what he was gonna bring to the table. So not having that, and then I don't want Zach to get hurt. Like I said, I just think that the line not being solid hurts him. And I don't blame Joe D for this. Someone was blaming Joe D today. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, man. You know, you draft the guy, you believe in the guy, you want to see the guy work his way back, you know what I'm saying? And like I said,
Well, I mean,
I will say this.
You blame him for not signing a veteran to this point.
yeah, and you can blame the team for how they handled him once he got in the camp.
I mean, at that part you can, but I mean, just doing, you know, not drafting a tackle or looking at Becton to come back and believing in the kid.
Well, you know, Tyrone. You know what's funny though? The people that are saying you should never have drafted him, I wish we can go back and look at all their tweets his rookie year when he was pancaking fucking people and moving people around. We got our guy, Pro Bowl or this, that. And now since this happened, oh, I told you so. I guarantee you during his rookie year, nobody said I told you so. I guarantee nobody said that.
And listen, I'm breaking up, but I want to say one last thing. I'm going to jump off topic for a minute, and I just want to say something, and I want to say it on this show, man. I don't know whoever has a problem with Fireman Ed, but you're a real asshole. Because at the end of the day, that man has been nothing but love for this team. I'm sorry that you don't feel important or you got an issue, but I'm telling you, don't do that shit around me. I promise you that. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's childish and it's petty, man. Why you got a problem with a man that loves this team? He's in the Jets Ring Hall of Fame for a reason. People don't have to know who he is, but they know that fucking chant. The whole world screams that chant because of that man. So let's kill that bullshit right there. I just wanted to say that. My bad. I didn't mean to.
Well, you're good. No, you're good. I said my piece, and everybody knows how we feel about him, man. He's been on the show a couple times. We're friends with him, so that's it. But
he's a stand-up guy, bro.
Yeah, I'm not even giving her any more attention for the shit that was going on with that. It's just stupid, man.
Dude,
so,
every 6 months, dude, there's somebody that puts out the same kind of tweet bashing him. They get their 5 seconds of fame, and then that's it, dude. So
the stories are completely incorrect.
Time to meet him at a game, watch the way he interacts with fans, dude. Stand up, dude. Great fan. Like
all the charity work he does and everything else. It's just ridiculous. So we'll do is we'll bring on our good friend Bubs, who we had a chance to meet.
Yeah, how's it going?
What's up, man?
What's up, baby?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun meeting you
guys.
Bubs
is tall as shit too, bro. He made y'all look small in the picture, bro. What you like 6'2", 6'3"?
He's a big kid, man.
Yeah, he's big, man. I was like, yeah, he made Prime look like a dwarf, man.
So, Bubs, let's see what are your takes on this Becton situation?
Well, it obviously stinks. I mean, you go into this season with, you know, optimistic about, you know, your tackles and stuff. My biggest thing is, like, you know, you just got to move on from it. You hope he can bounce back. You know, he's not even just his Jet career, but you do have to wonder just in general his entire career. I mean, this is 2 knee surgeries for a guy the size he is. It's just tough for him to. It's going to be tough for him to bounce back. But like you guys said, I mean, you guys nailed it on the head. They got to get somebody in here because you can't, you know, if you don't bring somebody in quick enough and the offensive line's a mess, not only is that going to put Zach Wilson in jeopardy of getting hurt, but it's going to put his progression and his, you know, his ability to, you know, take that year 2 jump in jeopardy if he's, you know, getting pressured every single play. So you got to bring somebody in. The Dwayne Brown thing, I think a lot of people, you know, think that just, you know, his history with the 5-time Pro Bowl and all that stuff is great, but then all of a sudden you kind of have 2 things because Dwayne Brown then has to get fit in, like you guys said, on the left side. And then you move Font, who he earned his spot at the left tackle. You know, last season, he earned his spot. Like, I don't think it's fair to him to move him. Like, he earned his spot there. And he's just not the same, it seems, at right tackle. Then you have AVT, who then's got to mesh with Fant. And then you already have Dwayne Brown, who's going to have to mesh, you know, with Tomlinson, which I think is going to be easier because Tomlinson's a veteran. But it just creates a whole like.
So what's your preference for right tackle then? And what would you give Fant on an extension at this point?
Well, I mean, I would in my opinion, I'd bring in a right tackle. Like, I'd bring in a guy who's already a right tackle. Keep Font at left. Bring in a guy who's a right tackle. and just roll with that. Because I mean, you can't put Chuma Edoga out there or Connor McDermott. I mean, Edoga is just, I don't know why he's still on the team. Every time he goes in, he's just, this guy blows right past him. So I'd keep Font at left. I'm not moving Font. Dwayne Brown, yeah, he's good, but I'm not going to move Font because he's proven. He's shown that he's very good. He's showed that he's a solid left tackle. To move him to right, then have to mesh with AVT. It just creates it's just going to create an entire mess. It's just going to be a mess.
Yep.
And that's going to put Wilson in jeopardy of not only getting hurt, but his whole progression in jeopardy too. So I'd pick up, if anything, a right tackle or somebody that already is a right tackle, because you can't put Edoga or McDermott or somebody out there and just roll with it. Although they might say that they're okay with the depth at the position.
Brian Balaga's
There's no way.
Brandon Shell's out
What do you
there?
say?
I like
Brandon Shell, yeah. I also saw, I think the guy's name, Balaga, I think. He's also out there.
Balaga's pretty good too. I know he's had some concerns.
Yeah, he was with the Chargers last season, played with the Packers for a while. He's a guy that's out there. He's a right tackle. Could bring him in, another veteran. He's actually, I was looking earlier, is a little less, he would be less than Dwayne Brown. His contract's lower than Brown, so not that means everything, but you would be paying less to bring in Balaga, guy who's already a right tackle. You let him mesh with Tucker, and then you keep Font at left tackle, which I think is the best option because
I'm with you, man.
Be a mess.
I'm with you. I'd rather, because I think Fant showed us that he played like a solid left tackle. I'd rather go there and try to find a piece at right tackle than going the other way around. Like I don't want to, you're kind of upsetting the apple cart. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's a weird situation now with his contract, moving him, who you bring in, it's interesting, man. I never thought we'd be here to be at this point, but this is crazy.
Yeah. And I agree with you guys. I think I see both sides of it, Primetime and Tyson, where you guys are coming from with the Jets to be blamed. I mean, I was at camp yesterday and he was limping, to start camp. And there was even a time, I think, where he had to take a knee, which has happened many times, took off his helmet. He just looked gassed. And the fact that the Jets, they had to have seen that,
Saleh said it in his press conference he saw it, dude. And we saw it a week ago. Prime time now, the first practice, because when you go there, you're excited to see the team. But I'm like, you're curious to see what's Becton going to be like. 3 plays in, he's limping. I'm like, dude, and wait a minute. And you'd see in between plays, he'd limp, he'd walk around, he's stretching, he'd be down on one knee, he was huffing, and they were giving him credit, he's puking, he's working through it. Yeah, it's great. He's willing to be diligent and try to grind through it. But sometimes you gotta say, something's wrong here. That maybe we gotta give him a break. Say, whatever you do, just give him a couple of days off, give him a week off, and say we gotta. You could say, hey, listen, a typical football thing, a little tweak in his hamstring. The hamstring's tight, back issue. You give him 4 or 5 days off, whatever, just some shit.
I think they tried to treat it as a hard lesson learned, like a kid that plays with matches. You tell him not to do it, eventually he gets fucking burned. Well, you don't want to see the kid get hurt, but we told you not to do it. You did it anyway. Everybody's been screaming for 7 months. You got to drop your weight. You got to drop your weight. You got to get it under control.
So now they proved their point. He's out for the year. Is that worth it?
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's right, but I mean that's what happens. Unfortunately,
tough love,
game, which is a violent game. When you don't take care of your body, injuries happen.
Right, absolutely. But tough love only goes so far. At some point, we do the same thing with fighters. Do the same thing with tough weight cuts. You go through tough sessions, then you pull off. All right, we want to get you to fight night. You could be an asshole to somebody and punish them for a little bit, but then you got to back up. All right, listen, we need to get you on the field.
But what good is getting him to week 1 if he's just going to get dusted every play? That doesn't do us any good.
But dude, what good is having no player at all now? Now his career's in jeopardy with the Jets. Is that worth it?
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather him not be.
Of Mekhi Becton better than Chuma Edoga,
or if he's not ready to play till week 3, but he's still on the roster and you still have a chance to keep him moving along, then that is what it is.
Because
proving a point by getting him hurt isn't fucking solving anything.
If I believe so, he didn't start camp with a brace on, right? Didn't he?
Nope,
put that on
a couple days ago.
After 2 or 3 practices. He said mild discomfort, I think, was solid.
I know the Jets obviously have the big say in it. If they feel he needs to stop practicing, there's stop practicing. You do wonder though if Becton was trying to just prove people that he can fight through it, prove people that he's all right.
He had to with all the shit that he was talking. He had no choice but to try to tough it out. He put the target directly on his back. He was talking shit for 7 months. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. Big bust T-shirts. He couldn't sit out the first week of camp after talking all that. He couldn't.
You know what though? But Primetime, But if you worry about the outside noise and you're worried about then you have a bigger problem.
But that's
as the organization,
that's what he's done all offseason. He's paying attention to all the.
I'm saying once he reports, as an organization, you sit down and say, okay, this player's not where we need to be. I don't give a fuck what the fan and media think. I don't care. If he can't practice, he can't practice. You know what? And then he's got to face more music prime time. You know what? We don't think you're ready to practice. You're sitting out for another week. You're on a PUP list. Face that fucking music. That's tougher love than having him practice injured. Having a week of saying, you know what, you're not ready to practice because you're not in shape.
I would have had no issue with them doing that. That would have been the right thing to do. But again, this is 11 months from when he got hurt. At what point do you say, like, dude, 6 to 8 weeks, that's when you should have been back? Carl Lawson had a much more serious injury, and he looks explosive on the field right now.
I mean, they're two completely different athletes. Carl Lawson's an established veteran player, has been in the league how many years? Becton's here 2 years. They're completely two different players, man. Two different players, different mindsets, two different statuses in their career.
Yes, but when the guy's 400 pounds at the end of last season, and when the next time you see him after he misses OTAs, he's still 400 pounds, you have every right to question what he's been doing for 7 months.
I'm on your side. I have no problem questioning him. I agree what he did was not right. The problem I have is once he got here and he's not doing what he's supposed to, he's not playing his full potential, to have him still out there to the point where he can't really hold his balance, he's getting pushed around and beat all the time, is counterproductive. So if you want to say, you know what, go ahead, kid, tough it out. Well, he toughed it out. He was puking, he struggled, now he's out for the year. Congratulations. I don't agree how they handle it. I don't agree. I don't understand why nobody's giving them more questions. Because prime time we were there. Peter Schwartz talked to me today. He said, I saw the same thing. He's like, I didn't understand why he was still practicing. I couldn't figure it out. And I guess because nobody wants to piss off the Salah and ask these questions or question Joe Douglas. It is what it is. It's crazy.
Like even the injury. I mean, like when it actually happened, it wasn't like it was kind of just like his foot kind of got like stuck. It wasn't like anything major. It's almost like he just lost his balance, tweaked his knee, and now it's a big.
Myers hit him with a bull rush, and he just fell right over.
Yeah, and that's the whole. That's where you really wonder. It's just like I don't know. It's the whole situation.
I don't think he was ever 100%. If you look at him the way that we saw him the first day of camp that was open to the public, I don't think he ever got to 100%.
Yeah, injury like that, you're uncertain. You start getting hit and you push down. I have no pain. When you do certain things, that's how you just all get better. If you start to play practice and things aren't going right, like, wow, this doesn't feel normal. This feels weird. This doesn't feel, like, then you add in the possible conditioning issues. It's a disaster. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just disappointing.
I do have one kind of positive. It hasn't really.
You're signing autographs. You're signing autographs at the next one.
Well, I mean, actually, I do have one more negative thing. You look at, I mean, people can criticize all they want. He's been very good. Douglas, he's done a phenomenal job, especially this past offseason. But if you look at that 2020 draft now, it's definitely an eyesore. Because now, I mean, the only two guys that come out of that have actually made impacts is punter Braden Mann and Bryce Hall, who's been solid. I mean, he's young, but I mean, he's been more of an impact player than Ashton Davis or any of the other guys.
I've seen a few comments on the 2020 draft, but ultimately, like if the last two drafts turn out as planned, I don't think anybody's really going to care about all the draft class. I mean, you have more than enough foundational pieces from these last two classes if they live up to that potential. Where you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be fucked if that draft.
Yeah, and especially with all the free agency moves that he did, the guys he brought in too. So, I think you guys have said this too, but watching Breece Hall at the scrimmage and yesterday, he's just so quick. Like I was blown away because I've seen videos of him, like just from like the SNY and Connor Hughes tweeting and stuff and all the different insiders. But when you see him in person, he's just like so like fast, quick. Like I'm so hyped up to see what he can do. Another reason why you gotta get this offense line stabilized because you need the running game. But I mean, just finding holes, getting to the second level, getting to the secondary. He's so quick.
Garrett Wilson too.
Yeah, like it's just young guys that are just fast and exciting. Like there's so many positives around this team. That's why they gotta bring in an offensive line, get this fixed because you can't let this turn into where everybody else gets affected and the entire offense starts to struggle. Gotta get this thing turned around because this offense, what I've seen from all the young players and Wilson, it's exciting. Other than this his bump in the road with Becton. But so,
Bubs, good meeting you
Awesome,
and good talking to you tonight, man.
yep, you too. Thanks for having me
Yeah,
on.
man. Good night.
Good night. I guess my sound sounds like shit tonight. We have really bad storms here, man. So I don't know what my
You
sound
were
like.
breaking up for a few seconds, and then it went back to normal.
Yeah, I mean it's just like monsooning here. It's crazy shit. All right, we'll go to Steve. What's up, man?
How we doing, guys?
Steve?
How you doing?
Yeah, so I mean, I was gonna say, I mean, what's happened happened. You know, it's terrible, but you know, just some options going forward at right tackle. I agree with you guys. I think Fant is better positions on the left side. I wouldn't try to complicate any overall chemistry. Plugging in one guy, you know, just on the right side, you know, probably better at worst case than the left tackle side. So there's this guy on the Broncos last year. He started 13 games. And I think he gave up 1 sack. You guys know which guy I'm talking about? I forgot his name, but
Oh, Bobby Massey, I think. That the one?
I can't hear you guys. I'm sorry.
Bobby Massey, tackle from the Broncos.
Oh, we just lost them.
All right.
And there he goes. A rough night for everybody, I guess. We'll go to Jomo. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Like the shirt.
Yeah, man. That's what we got to do nowadays.
Well, you were coming Saturday night.
Dude, I don't live up there.
He's in Florida.
I thought you said you were coming Saturday night.
No, week 1 though. I already got my tickets.
Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah. Yep. So, but
What your thoughts on this Becton mess?
man, it's really unfortunate. I more so feel for the kid. I mean, going through what he went through last year, and then it happened again. It's pretty rough, just mentally from his shoes. But at the same time, I feel like he wasn't prepared. Obviously, I mean, from what it sounds like, it sounds like he wasn't conditioned whatsoever. Wasn't in quote unquote football shape, you know. And I mean, the Jets probably did handle it the wrong way, looking back at it. But at the same time, I mean, you kind of want to see the kid pushing. You know, you want to see the kid pushing through practice like that. You want to see him trying to get into football shape and, you know, go through the motions. But I don't know. It is what it is.
You got to show the shirt, man.
Show the shirt.
Come on,
That's what we
Chris,
gotta
you should
do.
know that, man. Come
That's what we
on.
got to do nowadays. Come on. Trust the process, everybody. Yes, sir. Oh, man. Honestly, I mean, I've been thinking, like, why is Adoga still on the team? Is there something that
What are their other options right now, though? McDermott's hurt
But I mean,
for a week or two.
he survived
That's
3
also
years
rookie.
now. 3 years now off of McCagnon. I mean, there's got to be something that Douglas and the staff see in him. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a reason they weren't more aggressive over a backup tackle. I don't know. I hope that they do become more aggressive for a veteran tackle, but maybe they're comfortable with Adoga and these guys going.
I highly doubt it, man.
Al can say that all he wants. I think it's more that they just put their trust in Becton and he screwed him.
Yeah. I mean, it's
they did have in Dwayne Brown. They had Riley Reef in. I mean, they had other guys here. I think it just came down to money.
I mean, what are we haggling over? $1 million at this point? It's not worth it.
Well, I think they said Dwayne Brown's got other suitors that have more chances to win than the Jets do, a better chance to win. So it could be like just about opportunity. Then it could be like, where do they want him to play? Do they want to? I mean, he obviously never played right tackle before, so that could be the sticking point too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely don't want him going over to the left if we sign him. Definitely need a right tackle. I think Fant, he's solidified his position there. We need to focus on getting him a contract at this point before it gets too expensive. Pretty crazy though. I mean, I don't know how many tackles there are out there, but
There's a few veterans out there.
I mean, I've liked the moves that Douglas has done the past couple of years. I think he's got our best interest at heart. So we'll see what he does. But I mean, the team as a whole, on the optimistic side, I don't see this being like a detrimental, like a big hit to the team, to be completely honest. I would have liked to see it from a fan standpoint, to see that our 11th overall pick was the guy that we drafted. But from like an overall team standpoint, I really don't think that this hurts us as bad as like it hurts us as fans. It
might not hurt that much, but think about how much it could have helped if you had the rookie Mekhi Becton on that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, wait, time out. Wait, hold on. I disagree with this, because potentially this could hurt us if your left tackles can't protect your quarterback. So if you move George Fant to right and Dwayne Brown or Hurts playing left, and the offensive line becomes a sieve and your quarterback gets killed, it's not going to be a good situation. So
well, you hope they keep Fant at left and they find somebody to fill in that right spot. But I mean, just like the team as a whole, I really don't think it hurts us that bad. I mean, you guys were saying Becton was getting blown away in pass coverage. I mean, seems like that. I mean, that was an issue with him week 1 against Carolina as well. But I don't know. I really think that the team, what we've built around the quarterback, what we've built on the defense, I just think the team as a whole is much better.
There's the
Here we
light.
go as the light.
All they
goes
missed is
off.
the crickets.
Yeah. I don't know. I just see it that way. I think that I'm excited to see Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. The whole secondary is revamped. I mean, the starting 4 is just completely different. I mean, the whole defensive line, getting guys back, Lawson, all these guys.
No, I mean, gentlemen, there's a lot of excitement around the team. There's a lot of young talent, a lot of explosive playmakers, a lot of really good stuff. You know, just it's exciting times, man. Like they can overcome this injury, but for sure, you can do it. You can play call around it. You still have another month till the season starts. So it's just you got to address it. You got to add depth. You got to get some players now.
Not going to have that dominant run force up front that we were or could have had, but I still think as a whole the team will be good. It's rough to see Becton go down this early.
Well, good talking to you, man. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, guys. Hey, man. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Good night, man.
No crickets from Jomo tonight. So now we'll go back and bring on Steve, who couldn't hear us. What's up, man? Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, the computer's going to crap, so figured try on the phone instead. But yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I think primetime you got it. That guy Bobby from Denver last year, I think could be an option at right tackle. I just think it's easier to replace one guy, directly at the right side when Fant, like everyone said, has solidified the left side. And I think at this point, if you try to extend Fant before the regular season starts, that would be great. And you worry about right tackle potentially next year's early draft or whatever. We're not going to get into draft, but you know what I'm trying to say. Just try to get that short-term solution on the right side for the year. But I don't think it stops the Jets from even signing 2 if they somehow make the cap space. I mean, all these teams are restructuring contracts. You got to do what you got to do right now to protect Zach, and you can't stunt the development of anybody on the team. So you got to do whatever you got to do.
Problem also is Fant has so much leverage right now too. I mean,
yeah, his contract's going up in value.
Last year and potentially having 2 holes at tackle going into next year, he's got all the leverage right now.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably happy now that the Jets didn't give him a contract in July or something like that. The more he's waited, he's gotten more of a potential pay increase. But we'll see. I mean, the only positive is that we have a month until the regular season. Yep. So. But it's up to the Jets to sign someone quick. I don't think that new guy's going to be ready on Friday if we sign someone even tonight by the time he's learning all the new calls. But you got to get them in the building immediately, and you got to get chemistry with all 5 there.
Well, see, it's unfortunate that they're in this spot now because if you're a free agent, the Jets are desperate. Be like, you know what? I want $6 million a year. We'll give you 3. All right. Well, I want 6, and I'll sit and wait till I get it.
Someone will pay it. Yeah,
and especially because you're not a winner right now, too. Teams aren't coming here to win right now. You're still technically in that rebuilding process.
Yeah, and you can't wait for future cuts in a few weeks of training camp. You got to get somebody right now. And I think Douglas knows. All right, shit, this is a big deal. I got to do something. But just sign somebody and move on. But at least it's not Zach, thank God, or anyone like that. But I think there's still a lot of optimism going into the season. It sucks that we can't have a quiet, normal offseason ever, but. I guess it is what it is, and we got to move on.
It was cool, because they had Jordan Whitehead on the WFAN this morning. He was talking about just the work ethic and the hunger of all these young players, and you saw it. I mean, primetime, you see it. Sauce Gardner is tenacious. Garrett Wilson's tenacious. These guys are getting after, man. There's a lot of they don't know the whole same old Jets shit. They don't know the losing history. They just want to win really bad, and that excitement is translating. Zach Wilson's saying a lot of really good things. Zach Wilson's doing a lot of good things. So it's a lot of really positives right now. This is a minor setback, and I think. Once we sign a right tackle, get the guy, we'll all move on. You know what? We can rally around this. It's when it initially happens. You're pissed off, you're angry, you're frustrated, and then you move on,
Yeah, I think unfortunately, just like anything, that sucks in life. It will take a few days, it'll take a little bit of time, but like you said, they'll sign somebody, we'll start to buy back in a little bit again, but I think we'll be fine. Becton would have been a free agent signing if he played this year just because how much time he missed last year. So I think even if you get a solid guy on the right side, the line could still be just as good, if not better than last year, especially with people forget that, you have two vets on the left side, assuming Fant stays there. I'd rather have the two vets protecting the blind side, even if it was ABT and Becton. Let the young guys learning on the right, and probably force the run on the right side. I think you could still probably do that this year.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like you always think about this year, but then you think about next year too. Like who's the starting left tackle next year? If you move Fant, like it's like and that's where prime time with the the Quan stuff, and it's just so weird how things play out in the NFL, man. It's like I never thought we'd be here right now, but this is where we're at.
Yeah, and I know it's buyer's remorse, not buyer's remorse, but hindsight, seeing what happened. But I don't think anyone should say it's a mistake for drafting Sauce and all the other guys we got, because in the moment, that's what we thought was the best decision for the team. And I agree, free agency wise, absolutely we should have had depth already. That's no doubt about it. But as far as the draft, like we can't say that our draft this year was a mistake. Just seeing what happened yesterday.
No, I mean, the one thing I like watching Sauce play in person, man, is impressive as hell. Like he is just, and like prime time, you keep mentioning he's the first player on the field every practice.
Every single practice. Yeah. And it's not even like 5 minutes before. It's like 20 minutes before. He's just sitting in the middle of the field, doing some stretches, going over technique. Dude, like when we talk about the culture actually changing, especially now with Becton going down, you hear reports today that Mims, he's throwing punches at guys. Yeah. It almost seems like last year's draft class. That's where like the new culture line really starts, where those guys really took it upon themselves. And this class as well with Gardner, the way he practices, like these guys are really trying to take ownership of this team. And the guys that were here beforehand, like they're just going to get left behind. Like they're not part of this new energy.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the preseason. I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, we're going to see, very vanilla offenses and stuff, but, it'll just be good to see some live action and, just get Zach out of there, hand the ball off, dump it off to a tight end, like you said, just move on and move, and that's it.
I'm curious to see guys like Michael Clemens play. I want to see Jermaine Johnson play. You want to see a lot because, like, Jermaine Johnson up until today had a kind of like a quiet camp. These guys have been kind of quiet. I want to see them get substantial NFL reps and get out there and start showcasing what they can do.
And I would sit like Carl Lawson until the regular season. Like, don't play like I don't even know if I want him at joint practices.
I'd hide his cleats. I wouldn't let his go near his cleats. Like you can't put him on, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's some people you just got to be like, all right, like we trust you. I know you're coming off injury, but like we got to preserve you, save him from himself. But I think we're gonna be all right, guys. Like Avram said, just embrace the positivity. It's the year of the Jets. So.
No, it is. It is. Truly, once you look past this little, like there is a lot of talent, man. Like there's a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism. You have Elijah Moore. I mean, this is the first practice when you see these guys flying around, and then there's just Wilson, man, who if he can just keep progressing. Every practice he makes one or two throws, you're like, holy shit! Like it's like you see it, and it's like it's getting there.
He's got time to throw the ball. He's making some nice plays.
He's ripping it, man.
More decisive, getting the ball out quicker. He's just running for his life, like half his reps. So that's the only thing that sucks right now.
Yep.
Yeah, but at least the positive is you see 4 straight days, including the scrimmage, of him showing growth and consistency. So just keep doing that, and no one's asking you to be Mahomes in year 2. Just take that next step to be like a top 15 quarterback, and then year 3 hopefully he takes off. But just do the simple thing right.
The other thing too is that there's about 3 or 4 players that have noticed him being much more have a firmer command of the huddle, firmer command of the offense. He's holding his receivers accountable now. Like they've all said it. Like, oh no, if I run a wrong route, that he comes tells me about it, and that's what you want. That's how you become a leader. That's how you start getting that chemistry, and that's the next step, man. That's what you want to hear about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'll let you guys get to some other callers. I know you probably have a lot, but it's always good talking to you guys. And we'll talk soon.
Good talking to you, man.
All right, take care, guys.
Later. All right, there's Steve. Very busy show tonight, primetime. So we can go to our long lost friend.
What up?
Yo.
Oh man, I've been on the backside of the schedule. I've been waiting to call you guys. I tried
ever since you owed Tyrone money.
Oh, shit. I'm gonna come to
pain too.
Yep.
Hey, I'm coming to the Baltimore game, so I'm giving you guys the money to give it to Tyrone if he don't show up.
Tyrone's gonna be there. You can give it to him in person.
Oh, that I want a picture then, and I'm gonna pay an extra $25 for a hug.
Put it towards beer, dude. Put it towards beer. Just bring some beer.
Oh yeah, definitely bring beer. Park that. No, but like I think the whole Kai Becton thing is just like a way overreaction. We didn't even have him last year. We had Moses, and Van played great at the left side. So I just don't understand. It's like that. I'm with you, Prime Time, on how you're like he didn't. I think it's his fault he didn't show up and do what he needed to do in the offseason to be prepared to play football. And then I agree with Tyson with like the fan that says like, "Oh, the same old Jets, man, you're crazy. We haven't had this much talent in 10 years."
Nope.
Becton. If Steve the caller was starting at right tackle, we still have a better team than we've had in years. It's so that's my thing.
I mean, the one thing is this is happening in early August, so you have chance to
Right.
recover from it, regroup, find answers, and still grow chemistry and gels and offensive line. There is that, and you can play call around it. There's a lot of things you can do, so they have time for that. And the playmakers are legit, dude. Like there's a lot of positive things to embrace. And the defense, the one thing, the defense getting after the offensive line is one thing. We also have a lot of pass rushers this year too. Jacob Martin, Bryce Huff. Like Primetime and I, we sat in the end zone for the green and white scrimmage, and we saw the 7-on-7 line drills. Bro, Huff and Jacob Martin just get after it, dude.
Yeah, that kid's like a trigger waiting to be popped, like Jacob Martin. I think that was a great signing. I think he's going to be good. Solomon Thomas, he's only 27. He's still got a lot of potential.
Yep.
And then you got Quinnen, you got John Franklin Myers. I think our defense
and the pressure that he's going to put on everybody, it makes everybody better, dude.
Right.
Yep.
And then it's almost like because I've struggled to my main Jets fandom was like the early 2000s, late 90s. I caught but I wasn't as into it then. But early 2000s when we got Pennington and all that, and so I think it's just like we're afraid to rip the Band-Aid off thing. Like we didn't have Becton last year, we're not going to have him this year, and now it's like, oh, everything's not perfect. Like woe is us. But I don't think that's the way this team is set up. There is like you guys said, the defense looks night and day better from last year. You got
I don't think we're going woe is us. It's just a setback where you're disappointed because we all had high hopes for Becton. You want to see it work out, but now it's like, all right, you're out, next man up. Like it's the initial reaction, man. Like I'm still excited, man. I'm still saying 8 wins, 7 wins. I still believe in that. And the one guy we're not really mentioning, we should have been mentioning, is Quan Alexander, who has been flying around with a lot of chemistry, adding a lot of energy to the team too. So the linebacking group, Primetime, you saw him too. Like he's become like a mentor and a leader out there.
Dude, like we're set up much better this year for next man up. It's just disappointing this early to already be talking about one of your significant pieces already out. Like the thought of a healthy Mekhi Becton and what that could have did for the ground game, keeping the defense off the field, like that was one of the things that was going to make everything go. So yes, are they better equipped to handle that injury and come back from it? Possibly. But again, we still haven't brought in a veteran tackle yet. So, like, who knows who's actually going to be starting on that right side right now?
Right, and I agree with we're not moving Fant's the left tackle because he did way better over there. We just need to find that Morgan Moses for this year.
Yep.
And then we can figure it out later because the whole rest of the team is so much better. Like, look at the Chiefs when they went to the Super Bowl. Look at Cincinnati last year. They had no O-line.
Nope.
Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? You could still be good without an offensive line. And I think the growth Zach Wilson, like his potential this year, I think he's really put in the work. Carl Lawson is coming back. We haven't even seen that on the field. It's just like I just think the whole Mekhi Becton thing is such like it's such a wham in your face because it's been the only off season story all year.
Yep.
And they've been so focused on that, on his weight, what he's doing, where he's going, whatever. But it's all non-football related. The guys that came in that we brought into free agency, I can't remember last time we brought in free agents that wanted to be here, like these guys that came in wanted to be here. And it's like a totally different feeling, I think. And I always wear the green goggles because I'm always super positive. But I do think
that was something Jordan Whitehead was also talking about. I heard that same interview today, where like when he was going around trying to figure out where he wanted to play, just talking with Saleh, getting a sense for the energy around the team, like he wanted to be a part of this.
Yep.
A lot of guys really sense that things are actually starting to come out here, which is
like
good.
in Uzama and
Conklin.
then Conklin wasn't even talked about. Now there's like an unsung thing with him and Zach's chemistry. Like that's great. So he's got a target to go to when nobody else is open that he can rely on. You know, like I just think that I think the energy around the team, and I think the way that it's like young, but there's a mixture of like veterans. It's just they're all gonna like. I feel like they're bonded, like you said. you guys both said about like they don't know they're supposed to come here in the same old Jets and to lose. They don't have that mentality.
You know, it's just like a different mindset. Like you have Quan Alexander helping Quincy Williams. You have Lake and Tomlinson helping Vera Tucker. You have Quinn Williams helping Jermaine Johnson. But it's like you see it. Like they're all vested. They're all buying in. Like DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner are inseparable, right? Primetime. They're always together, man. DJ Reed's hurt now, but they're always like, everybody's vested. Everybody's buying in. What's that?
They get their own personal coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they're all like it's a whole different mindset, a whole different mentality. And that's not something we've seen in the past. It's usually a bunch of individuals.
It's always like the negative that we usually hear. But then like you see Jermaine Johnson, I forget what I was watching him on, but he did like an interview. Dude, that dude's legs look like tree trunks. Yep. That kid's
Michael Clemens, dude. Michael Clemens is a beast, man. His first step is something else, boy.
Yeah, see, that's an unsung guy too. Like maybe like a better version of a Fotokasi we found. Like not only can he stop the run, but he can develop as a pass rusher too. I don't know. I really like that finally, because we've been in a rebuild so long. I love how Joe Douglas like got it down to the bare bones, and then like we struggled through it the last 2 years with the gay stuff. That was terrible. But now we're here where we're at, and like we took the cornerback Sauce, we took the wide receiver, we took the pass rusher, Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall is like I don't know. I've heard a lot of comparisons. I haven't heard it. He reminds me of like Le'Veon Bell. Like he
reminds
just
me of Tomlinson,
and then he goes, but he's like a big dude. That second gear is unbelievable. Like I want to see that. That's what I want to see in the preseason. And Zach doing his thing. But if look at the Buccaneers, Jensen went down. So are they like, oh, our season's out of the water? And that's even a main stable more than a right tackle. Like we could get a right tackle, and we still got money. We could even trade for one. Yep. You know what I mean? Like if it's a building block or whatever. So I don't think it's as big of a deal as it's getting made to be. I think it's just the Jets, and they're like, oh, Mekhi Becton's out for the season because it was this whole story off season.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. In the grand scheme of things, you replace the right tackle, we all move on. But if you look at who Becton is, where he was drafted, the expectations for him, and the expectations for him going forward, it's a significant story, man. Because now next year we expect nothing from him. We're like, what? There's a chance he may not even be here. Like that's
where I totally agree with Primetime. I'm like, dude, like you had a whole extra, like it was 6 to 8 weeks, then you had a year, and then you like he kind of didn't like. Yes, it's also the Jets' fault with the limping and all that. I can understand that, but maybe a little tough love because he kind of had all year to get himself. Like that's his main. Like think about any of us going to the NFL. Like Tyson, you do the UFC stuff, so you know better than anybody. Like if you don't train for a fight, like that those small things that you don't do are going to affect you in that fight.
Yep,
it just is. Like I don't think that. I think he lost the weight.
There's no possible way that they could pick up his 5th-year option before the start of next year.
Absolutely
no way. Quinnen's on the board of that, and Quinnen's actually showed up. Quinnen's like weird because he shows up in like big times, and then you're like, man, Quinnen's there. And then the whole rest of the time, you don't know he's playing.
Yeah, but see, now he's having a phenomenal camp. He's in incredible shape, and now he's surrounded by a lot of talent, man. Where he's just gonna flourish, dude. Like he's in a really good spot. And we gotta go to some other callers, man. So thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Oh, no doubt. It was great talking to you guys. I'll see you at the home opener. Yep.
Yes, sir.
What parking lot is it?
J21.
J21. Okay.
Yes,
I seen J17. I don't know why. I've seen 2 of them. So J21.
21.
Got it.
Later, dude. All right. We'll go ahead to some questions here. What do you guys think of the bad practice today? Doesn't surprise me, man. It was hotter than hell. The injury stuff, it's just one of those days where it's fights and chaos and
every practice has been hot, but the last one that I was at the other day, you could definitely sense things getting like a lot more chippy. I think guys are ready to start hitting somebody else.
Yep.
You see the defense really chirping a lot, especially Sauce and some of the linebackers. These guys are really talking a lot of shit. So,
yep,
kind of
absolutely.
This point, Camp.
Let's see what we got here. We're not answering Met questions tonight. We're not answering Yankee questions tonight. We got to talk Jets tonight.
You can talk Mets.
Let's talk Yankees too. But what's up, Jets Unleashed?
Hello, guys. How you guys doing tonight?
You're growing you're growing a beard over there. What are you doing?
A little bit. With the whole Metcalf, not Metcalf, blah blah blah. With the tackle, I'm just, you can blame everyone. You could blame him, and then
Kevin?
Huh?
I can blame Kevin.
Get blamed for everything else.
I blame Joe Douglas, I blame Coach Sala, and then I blame a little bit on player. I think there's some blame to go around, and now for the future, we don't know what he's going to be next year. He may be gone, like you guys have said, so it's just a bad situation. But you know what? Hopefully, I'm happy it happened in preseason instead of in the regular season, because in the preseason you could try to see if you could fix it. If it was like week 1 this happened, then you could be really in trouble. So right now you could try to fix it and band-aid for one season, and then fix it for the off season for next year.
Yeah, I mean, prime time.
I was gonna say, what's your preference for bringing in a right tackle? Like, are you trying to move fans, bringing in like a Bobby Massey or an Eric Fisher? I think he's still out there. Bringing in somebody like that.
I would say maybe like if you see if Brown would take a right tackle. I know he never played there, and it would be something new for him, but see if he's willing to. If not, then just get somebody that's a veteran that's able to hold down. I don't care. I don't have a preference on the right tackle of who they will bring. Just somebody that can be there and be able to block for a couple of seconds and not get bull rushed, unlike these all backups.
Fair enough. See, prime time, speechless?
What's up?
Are you speechless right now?
I am actually. what kind of contract are you giving Fant? Or are you giving contract? I feel like you almost have to at this point, no?
Yeah, you have to. I was looking to try to upgrade Fant, but at this point in time, you have your center that's going to be. You may have to try to get a new center next year as well. So you may have to just keep Fant for 1 or 2 more years, and then just hold on to him. And then after we fix the center and the right tackle, then we can try to fix him later on.
Yeah, I think you probably give Fant 2-year extension at this point, right? That's kind of what
he's gonna want more than that.
he's got some leverage right now.
2-year extension, no way. 4 years, $15 million. Give me premium left tackle money. I earned it.
Interesting times, man.
But preseason week one is here though. I'm excited. I'm excited for these CBs to be able to see. Can these CBs be able to lock down these 2 wide receivers? I know the Eagles traded for a wide receiver from the Ravens, so it's going to be fun to see how this defense wins as well.
I'm looking forward to preseason football.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I to be honest, if I was Sal, I wouldn't put Zach Wilson out there, because we do not want a Sanchez type of thing. If he gets injured, then we're very much in bad trouble.
If he plays, man, like Primetime said, I could see like hand the ball off 3 times, get out. Like they're not gonna, especially with the makeshift. George Fant's not gonna play. If you're right tackle, you're not sure about. I don't think they're gonna take any chances with him. I'd be shocked.
That and how? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, part-time.
No, I was just gonna say it's too early. There's no reason to risk it at this point. I know there's one less preseason game than usual, but you can get him all the looks that you need to in training camp. So.
Well, and then the Eagles' defensive line is very good. They drafted that defensive tackle in the draft, which he's very big. So that'll please show some sitting out there.
That'll be the night where all the Mike White fans are gonna have a lot of fun watching Mike White play. It's not gonna be Flacco or Zach Wilson. I can tell you that much. Thanks for calling it, man. We appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Jet up.
Have a good night.
You too, guys.
It's good seeing some of our all-time callers here, man. It's like the whole gang is back here.
Oh, football's almost back. People are excited.
So I see we have
chaos.
I can't deal with Vincent yet, man. We can't do him yet, right? No, not yet. We'll go to Don. What's up, Don?
Yo, what up?
What's up,
How you
Don?
doing, man?
Oh, I finally got to call in.
It's about time.
I know. You guys get me nervous. You guys are all Hollywood. You guys are professionals. You know what I mean?
That's this guy. Not me.
Hollywood what? My freaking internet was out for the first 10 minutes of the show. What are you talking about?
I know. I wasn't here for the first 10 minutes. I just logged in like 30 minutes ago.
Cool. So how you doing, man?
Surviving. Terrible news, but we'll bounce back. We'll be all right. I'm not as nervous as everybody else is. We went a whole season last year without him. And think about it. We haven't had him last year. We won't have him this year. He was injured the first year. I mean, it is what it is. We got to find somebody. You got to plug him in. We have too much talent to just be down and out. It's August.
Well, I think the reason why we're bugging out is last year we had Morgan Moses in place and we felt comfortable with that. So until we find that Morgan Moses, then we could all exhale and be like, all right, now we're good.
And Moses was actually in camp for a couple of weeks. So he was actually getting familiar with the offense. Like, you're 2 weeks into camp at this point, and who's going to be your right tackle? If it's going to be Adoga, that's fine. He's obviously getting the reps right now. I don't think any of us want to see him or McDermott or Mitchell out there. So if you're bringing in a vet, you got to do it sooner rather than later, because week 1's pretty much a month away.
Yeah, true. I agree. But I just think that it was a fail on I mean, we have to highlight that. Joe Douglas, I mean, under the Joe Douglas regime, we've been dealing with injuries, and they didn't deal with the injuries properly. Even when I was at the green and white scrimmage, I sat in the end zone as well. I sat a little bit lower. And even looking at Becton, I was like, wow, he's not explosive. He looks winded. Like, it was like, I don't know what this is, but he looked like he needed to sit down and take a breather, and like, you have to reevaluate him.
Most of that practice, they pulled him after the first drive or two, and he didn't come back out there at the green and white.
They say he was on a pitch count.
Yeah.
Then they gave some story like, oh, we're worried about him being on the turf. No, you weren't. Like, let's be honest. He was struggling before that.
Yeah, he looked like he was struggling. But I saw Carl Lawson in person. Carl Lawson is probably he's a freak.
Yes, sir.
A serious freak. They need to, like you said, they need to hide his cleats. He should not be playing any preseason games. Breece Hall is way bigger in person than he is on TV. I'm excited to see him. I'm still excited about the team. I mean, this is a setback, no doubt, but we got to bounce back. I mean, the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying they made it to the Super Bowl with a terrible offensive line.
Yeah, but
we got to figure it out.
There's so many ways you can offset a struggling offensive line, and the really cool thing about the Jets is they have explosive playmakers. You have Hall, you have Carter, you have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. Just get the ball out of his hands. That's it. Right. And then we haven't talked about Conklin yet. The kind of camp he's having, Zuma. There's plenty. Just quick drops, get the ball out of his hands, and let these guys make plays, and they'll be fine. If the defense plays well, I mean, it's a setback. It's August 9th. A couple days from now, we'll be fine. We'll be ready for a preseason game. Just sign somebody. There's still plenty of excitement, man.
A lot of 2 tight end sets. A lot of 2 tight end sets, especially
as there should be.
Yep.
Conklin is a monster.
He
is a beast.
He's smooth too.
And smooth. Breece Hall is smooth. The one run he had right up the gut, he made one cut and he missed the linebacker, and he was going to be gone.
Yep.
Corey Davis, the little screen that they did to the side, that was great. Like, even if the field was wider, the throw to Garrett Wilson was amazing.
Well, if Corey Davis can hold on to the football too, it'd be nice too. He had a couple of drops.
I was screaming in the stands. I had people looking at me like, dude, this is only a scrimmage. I'm like, dude, catch the ball, man.
Yep. We saw that last year. It's like, if he didn't drop passes last year, I wouldn't have been so pissed, but don't do this in preseason in front of us again. So
even Elijah Moore had one too.
Yep, he did.
Elijah Moore is smooth. For a smaller guy, his route running ability stood out. I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, man. It's exciting, man. Like I said, this is like a little speed bump for us, but there's an influx of talent, exciting talent, explosive players, a lot of pass rushers, man. I've been really impressed by all those young guys. Like I said, Huff and Martin, even John Franklin Myers, man. John Franklin Myers in some of those drills was just destroying people, man. It's like it's just get everybody healthy and get to week 1,
Quinnen looked good too.
On that D line too.
Yeah, Quinnen looks real good.
I hope Quinnen doesn't turn into a Wilkerson situation and we give him the contract and
I know, man. Son, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Good talking to you guys.
Have a good night. Yeah, a lot of good things about Elijah Moore. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things. I said we saw. It's unfortunate this injury happened because prime time we can cover all the things we've been seeing in practice, but it's just like, this is the story. The one thing about Garrett Wilson that I'll keep saying is he is tenacious, dude. He is a ferocious competitor, and he is pissed when it doesn't go his way, or if it's just right?
It almost feels like him and Elijah Moore are pretty much like the same player, just as far as route running, what they do after the catch. They catch almost everything that they can get their hands on, minus the one drop that I mentioned that Elijah Moore had. But yeah, I mean, they offer you that deep speed presence. I mean, they can do it all, dude. And I think Elijah Moore also, I mean, he got that experience last year playing on the outside. So now, you got Garrett Wilson and him that can both play either the slot or on the outside. That allows Berrios to get incorporated into the offense. You saw Corey Davis. So a lot of moving parts with like a lot of actual talent, which is cool.
But their route running is precise, man. And they cut on a dime. Like they just shoot off. And it's like to see Zach getting the chemistry of these guys and just firing them out. It's like, whew.
And the matchups too with Sauce and Garrett Wilson. I mean, that's only going to make both players better. So
absolutely. And even DJ Reed, dude. Like DJ Reed's he hasn't been playing because of his hamstring now, but he's a good corner. And even like I like the fact that all young corners are getting tested like this now. Like Bryce Hall and Brandon Eccles and all these even Michael Carter. They're all getting really good tests. So it's just crazy. What is this?
From what they've been going on.
TKO Steve, what are you doing, man?
Whoa, dude.
Thank you very much, man. We definitely appreciate that. Put that towards our fundraiser. But thank you. That's crazy, man. Thank you very much. That's wild. And sausage and peppers. Are you comparing to the ones that Primetime made on Saturday?
Those were spot on, dude.
But thank you very much, man. That's crazy. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're coming to week 1, dude, I'll have plenty of food for you.
Yeah, absolutely. J21.
Just so everybody knows, my finger's doing okay. You guys saw the video. All right. First off, the cap was completely malfunctioned. I think that should be stated for the audience. Like the cap was screwed on like ridiculously tight. It probably should have taken like 5 guys to actually open it up. So I actually found a way to get it open. My finger kind of slid in there.
What are we doing here?
Bleeding like crazy. I didn't seek any medical attention. I didn't miss any reps. I was there for the entire
people that don't know what Primetime is talking about, opening up a basic can of beer, a Bud Light, a basic bottle of Bud Light has bloodshed. I was covered in blood. All my leg, it was squirting everywhere.
It was latched on there with the jaws of life, and I still pried it open. I deserve credit. I deserve a medal.
So to complete this ass, we're going to go to Joe Cat. What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
You're on mute, man. Your button's muted. He's on mute. You're on mute. Tell him we can't unmute him, can we?
Oh wait.
Yeah, we can.
I
got you now. I got you. You good?
I was trying to get to that scrimmage the other day, but I got dragged to Hershey instead. But,
Hershey Park?
Yeah, what a nightmare. But but I'm glad to hear the recap from you guys. But even with the Becton thing, we didn't even have him last year, and it's next guy up. And I'm excited to see all these new guys like actually want to play. And even if we can get a right tackle,
So you don't want to move. You don't want to move Fant, right?
No, I think you got to pay the guy 2 years. The guy's been there every time we needed him. So you got to give credit where credit's due. And even when they drafted this 400-pound guy, like the first thing I said was like, this guy's gonna die of a heart attack. Like he's not even, like as soon as they took it, I was like, this dude's a monster. But
he had a good rookie year though, man. He did a lot of good things his rookie year. It's just unfortunate, man.
How big of if you can't drop that weight like that, like they said with the UFC thing that you do, that's your job, dude.
Yep.
Like you gotta, if he can't drop weight, then that's it. The upside is we're not gonna have to pay him like a major contract because he'll be a free agent and pick up the option, obviously, like you guys said. But I think it's a building. I don't think it's gonna destroy the season. If we get 6-7 wins, that we're not making the playoffs. Not making the playoffs. We just have to see some positive gain here, and that's where Jet fans, like especially younger Jet fans, need to realize that we're not going to the playoffs this year. Maybe.
I think we may not be a playoff team, but I think the expectations are a lot higher this year. Where we want to see very competitive football. You want to see Zach Wilson be much better. Like 7-8 wins is cool. Like we go 8-9. I'm doing cartwheels.
I mean, this injury should not be used as an excuse now to lower the bar from 5 to 6 wins. Like we're not going back to that. One player, like you just said, who was not even here last year. I know they were better equipped to handle it last year, but this one guy that you're missing should not just tank the entire season. No way.
Even if we lost every game by 3 points, as long as you're watching the game to the end, instead of turning it off at halftime, like we just got to make it competitive. And I love you guys' platform. If you guys can maybe start a push for the 80s logo on the new helmet, that would be.
We've been trying, man.
It's just the
old school logo is my favorite, dude. It's the background on my Twitter profile. I love that logo.
I'm 33, so that's our logo. Like that was
Yep.
green. So, but it's going to be a good season as long as we see Zach Wilson. You know, once you hang out with your mom's best friend, you're automatically the greatest Jets quarterback in my. Even Broadway Joe didn't do that, but you know, we just got to see some positive gains and some fiery play. And even if we come close every game, it don't matter as long as we're in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yep. Yeah, there's an influx of young talent. There's exciting playmakers. You want to see them progress throughout the season. And most importantly, at the end of the season, you kind of want to know that Saleh's the right head coach and Wilson's the right quarterback.
Right.
And I think it's fair to say that going into year 3 with these guys. Like, you know what I mean? That's
the arrow should be pointing up at the end of the year.
Yep, for both of them.
This receiving core reminds me a lot of the Santana Moss, Lavernius Cole.
Yes.
It's a spit image of those three and Corbett, even Corbett at the end. So I like that. And
you know, it's funny because Jordan Whitehead was comparing the Buccaneers to the Jets, and he's like, well, they had like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all these kind of bigger style guys. He goes, the Jets have speedsters, man. He goes, they're all great. They're great route runners, and they're fast as hell. And it's hard to defend. If you have one of those guys, it's one thing. But if you have 2 or 3 of these guys flying around, you're like, then you have these 2 monster tight ends. Like you could be like a mad scientist in terms of play calling.
Tom Brady did that with the Patriots all those years. He was Deion Branch was, you know, it was small. All of his receivers were tiny. We could do it too. It's a different game now. You don't need the 6'4". I mean, Corey Davis is a guy catch some passes though, because that guy's unreal with the drops.
Yeah, but you add like you have those receivers and you have a guy like Breece Hall coming out of the backfield, man. It's like you have just so many things you can do now.
Love that. I mean, he's the size, and even when you see him, like all the people saw him, you guys saw him live the other night. He definitely
he's impressive, man.
Person, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what we need. We need a 1-2 punch in the backfield. And, you know, just like how the Giants had with Tiki Barber and then Ron Dane for that 1 year that he was good. But you need back and forth, almost like LaDainian Tomlinson again. So
absolutely. Joe, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Guys, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
And I think prime time, that's the one thing that I've been really impressed by is just the team speed and the cutbacks of Hall and Wilson. Some of these guys, it's just like, we haven't seen that as Jet fans, man. Like we used to hype up guys like Darius Stewart and Chad Hansen and be like, oh, you know, and these guys are legit and they're young, man. So they can grow along with Zach Wilson.
And like he just said too, like Breece Hall is a lot bigger in person, like especially compared to Michael Carter. And you know, Carter, I think he's added some explosiveness, but Breece Hall just looks like he's better equipped to handle that wear and tear over 16, 17 games more so with Carter, where now Carter, if he's playing 35, 40%, you know he's going to be fresh. He's going to be explosive out there. I think it's a perfect recipe for them.
All right, we're going to go to our good friend, Dan. What's up, my friend? There he
Bring
is.
these back, baby. Bring these back.
We should.
Back. What up?
How you doing, man?
I guess you don't want Wilson to play on Friday.
Do not put Wilson out there on Friday, man. It is not worth it. Absolutely not. Not even close. Don't even, with our luck, not even hand off the ball. Not even that. No way. It's like suicide. It's like Jet fans don't learn. They don't learn. Bring him out there. If he doesn't know how to do 3 straight handoffs, then he shouldn't be in the league. He knows how to do that. Let him live. Stay on the sidelines. Don't do nothing this week. Next week against Atlanta, hopefully we sign Dwayne Brown. And let me get to that. Honestly, I never anticipated Becton starting the season. I always crossed him out. I always figured, you know what, they're definitely going to get someone. Iquanu, I had an idea. Maybe the Jets were going to draft him because there was always something fishy with Becton last year. There was always something odd, something off, and they knew about it. And I don't know if they tried to force the issue. It is what it is. How I look at it, it's addition by subtraction. Why do I say that? If you get Dwayne Brown, no, think of this. You get Dwayne Brown. You put him on the left side. You have an all-pro left side. Now you're going to say, what about Fant? What about Fant? Hold on a second.
I mean, let's not act like Dwayne Brown's 23 years old in the prime of his career, man.
Andre Whitworth wasn't, but he was there. He's stable. He's strong. He was there, and guess what? He's a Super Bowl champion, right? You want solid players at solid positions for this year. You want the development of Zach Wilson. That's all I give a shit about.
Yeah, but so you don't think Fant's a liability at right tackle? You think he's serviceable over there?
Of course. That's where you started off. He had no other swung to the left because of Becton. And look, for continuity, you put Fant and Vera Tucker back together. Now they're back together. Yes, they're on the right side, but you have solid play on the left side. I mean, to me, it is a beautiful thing. I never trusted Becton. He's an afterthought. I don't even see him with the Jets next year, obviously.
But just in terms of just having a guy that you know that's already played in your system a year, and George Fant had played quality left tackle on Zach Wilson's blind side, you can't just go find a right tackle somewhere that's serviceable?
Not if you have an upgrade at left tackle.
So do you think Dwayne Brown's a legitimate, a big-time upgrade over George Fant?
He was a Pro Bowler last year, right? Or was Fant? Fant wasn't a Pro Bowler last year.
Okay.
Dwayne Brown. I mean, to me, it's about upgrade. You're upgrading the position. Put Fant to the right side. It is what it is. Average starter, but the guy was a Pro Bowler.
I mean, the Pro Bowl is also a popularity contest many times too, man. It's not like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I kind of want to keep. I want to keep Fant at left tackle. To be honest with you.
Forget what Fant's done his entire career. Just looking at the sample size of last year with him at left tackle, he was phenomenal there. He was the best offensive lineman that we had last year.
I'm just saying, at least you got some sort of strength on the left side with veteran leadership right there. I mean, you want to change.
You have that now.
You do have that right now.
You have it right now.
So what do you do? What do you do at right?
You sign a right tackle.
I mean, is Massey the guy that we really want? I don't know, man. I mean, if I see a Pro Bowler out there and he's still out there, I would get him. I wouldn't even think twice. You know, I mean, it's again, like I said, Becton, I never even thought that he was going to start the season anyway. There was always something odd.
If you do move Fant, then how are you handling like a potential contract with him going forward? Like, are you paying him as a right tackle, a left tackle? Are you not signing him at all? And then are you going into next offseason looking for 2 tackles? I mean, how are you handling that?
Let me see if he could play a full 16-game season this year. I mean, he played all last year. That's cool. That's good. But shit, let's see what he does to right tackle. It even increases his value if he does this, because he could play both positions right now. That's how I look at it.
Just the idea of going into next offseason needing potentially 3 offensive linemen as starters. Just having at least one guy locked up for the next couple of years. I mean, that put me at ease a little bit.
I mean, throw him a contract. I mean, that's one thing that Joe Douglas has to do, man. I mean, you got to start retaining your own guys as well, especially when the price is right. Right now, Fant's salary just went up. Even Dwayne Brown, it skyrocketed.
Or he's got to have depth on the roster that you can start replacing these guys with. If you have guys like Adoga, McDermott, all these guys that aren't serviceable, that aren't capable to be starters, then why the fuck are they on your team?
I agree. Absolutely. But I don't understand why Joe just let Riley Reif go. He was in the building. Sign him. You had him. You were locked up.
Dwayne Brown was too.
Well, that's one thing that Joe Douglas has been consistent about, though. When he's got a price, we always talk about it. Like, he doesn't move off that price. And we give him a lot of credit when the guy actually signs and he gets good value, but he also misses some opportunities because he's not going to move off his set price.
At this point, he can't be cheap, man. We've seen this script before as Jet fans. When a GM wants to start being cheap, when we let Pete Kendall go, we got Adrian Clark. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen this shit before, and unfortunately it's heading towards that direction. And who's gonna take it? It's freaking Zach Wilson. An injury because of this? Pay someone.
Yeah, I mean, but just for one thing, look at Riley Reif's contract before you fire out how much money he's making, because it's nowhere near as much as it was reported.
Yeah, isn't it like $3 million against the cap?
Yeah, it's nowhere near as much. But no, Dan, I'm with you, and that's the biggest concern, where you're starting to shuffle the line around. Like, in the perfect world, you want to have your starters in place for the next at least 3 weeks to just get in rhythm, get in sync. You get your line calls figured out, your blitz pickups are like that. And it's like, the last thing you want is Zach Wilson taking a fucking beating. That's it. That's the only thing we begged the entire offseason was have a stout offensive line. You go out and get Tomlinson, you feel good with that. You feel good with Fant wherever he is now. You have Vera Tucker, but it's just like, don't make it where it's a sieve where like both sides are falling apart.
But doesn't it seem like that's what's going on in practice? Like, every tweet that I read, like, Zach Wilson's getting pummeled. Is that true or not? I mean, Kevin, you're out there.
I mean, but Fant hasn't been practicing. He just came back, right? Prime time, and then Becton's been struggling.
he's been practicing for a few days. Becton's obviously been struggling. The practice that I was at, first half, I mean, Wilson was running for his life on almost every play. Second half, he settled in a little bit. He was getting the ball out quicker, a lot of dump offs and things like that. Today, all the reports were, I forget who brought it up before, like 5 or 6 passes would have been sacks, like if there was actual contact. So, yeah, I mean, he's running for his life more times than he's not. Those aren't good habits.
This is scary. Just reading this shit, I don't want my young quarterback running for his life.
But Dan, the other thing too is that you got to figure there's still listen. The offensive line could be struggling. They're still doing installs. But the positive to this is that we have some explosive ass pass rushers too. Where as a old ass Jet fan, I haven't seen this kind of pass rush in a while, dude. Like we would try to manufacture some excitement, like, oh, this guy, like I love Jordan Jenkins, dude. He came on the show, God knows how many times, loved him, but he was solid. These guys are explosive, man, off the edge, athletic. Like we have right prime time, but it's like they have a platoon of them. Like there's 4 or 5 guys that are legitimate, can be disrupted that we really need at this point.
Yeah, at every tier. That's the wild thing about this defense. Like every tier that you go, defensive line, linebackers, secondary, the defense seems very legit. Now, again, this is all up on Ulbricht's shoulders. I did not want him back. There were better, serviceable, like defensive coaches out there. The guy that Martindale, I wanted him. Yep. Like he was out there. Get him. He knows how to motivate guys. Ulbricht doesn't do shit. But now Saleh has to step up as well. Like instead of freaking running up the stairs and shit before pregame, run your defense. Do some shit. You know what I mean?
But I listen, and I'm an Ulbricht critic, as you guys know. I mean, I was roasting him last year, but there is an influx of talent here, man, where if you run a certain style defense, you have the playmakers do that now. Sauce Gardner is very impressive. You have DJ Reed. So you have press corners now. You have a very good safety in Whitehead. You have the Quan Alexander, man's a good addition if he can stay healthy. He's a pretty aggressive guy. So, and then you have the defensive line should be much improved. So now you can be more aggressive. You can generate a pass rush with 4 guys now. Do you know how much flexibility that gives this defense? So if Ulbricht can't succeed with this, if they have less than top 25 defense, he should be fired. Simple as that, should be fired because there's no excuses this year.
And to Ulbricht's credit, he did take accountability for not using guys the right way during the Flight 2022 thing when they were talking to him. So he owned that. He took accountability for it. We said numerous times last year on the streams, the roster had a lot more talent than what they showed. So like you just said, you add in Sauce, DJ Reed, Whitehead, Jermaine Johnson. You add all these guys in. Like there are no excuses right now. No excuses for either side of the ball.
He could be all accountable all he wants, but shit, change the scheme up. Like be creative. You know what I mean? Like Greg Williams didn't have a great, around players and whatnot, but his scheme actually worked, except against the Raiders, which But
see, Dan, and to your point, that's the one thing that we expect this team to be a lot more competitive this year because they have a lot more talent. If Saleh is watching this defense melt and they have the same arrogance and stubbornness to not make any changes, either bench players or change your scheme or change your approach, it's going to be a significant problem. And that's something I mentioned the prime time before. It's like, at the end of this year, you want to say, we had the right coach here. We see the progress. We see the development. We see all this. If we see the same defensive mistakes we saw last year, at the end of this year, that's a problem, dude. That's because this is solid. This defense is solid as principles, as concepts, which Ulbricht's trying to run for him. If he doesn't step in and say, you know what? We can't stop the run. We've got to change something and don't service the same bullshit they serviced last year where it's like, oh, it's not the scheme. That's where somebody has to go.
I agree. Look, tomorrow's Wednesday. I anticipate Joe Douglas making a move. Like you cannot pass Wednesday and not have either a new left tackle or new right tackle, whatever the case is, whatever player you want to fit into that void. You got to get it done quick, man. Like enough is enough. You can't wait till Friday or Saturday. Like time is crucial right now.
You got to get them in. Got to start learning the offense. Got to start learning the playbook and everything else. You have to.
All right, fellas. Have a great night, guys. All right. Be safe.
Man, be good.
Good talking to you, man.
You got it. Later.
He gets me all fired up, dude. I want to start tackling walls when we talk to him every freaking time.
Good tonight, man.
Yep. So we're going to go to our good friend Luca. What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? Great meeting you guys at the tailgate on Saturday. It was really fun. I can't wait for week 1.
What's with that background?
It's Yankee Stadium.
I love it, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
So give us your hot take on the Jets left tackle.
Listen, I've heard you guys talk, and you know what? Why disrupt a good thing? Keep Fant at left tackle.
Yep.
The metrics, you look at the metrics, you look at the stats. Dwayne Brown gave up 8 sacks on the blind side last season. That's like Kelvin Beachum production. Why do that when you have George Fant on the left side who gave up like 1 or 2, as opposed to 5 penalties and 8 sacks from Dwayne Brown? Keep Fant where he's most successful and where he should get a contract extension, which he rightfully should. Now he has all the leverage. Go out right tackle. Balaga's there. Darrell Williams. You have Bobby Massey. Go get those guys. So that's how I feel about that. And, when we first heard about this injury, I was in the Jet Lounge, and I think one caller started talking about Becton, how he's fat and stuff. Like, listen, you want to blame Becton for the whole thing? Sure. You want to blame the Jets half and half? Sure. But I just don't like going into this whole situation and, projecting blame like, oh, Becton's fat. We're talking about Becton as a person. I don't like that. You want to project blame? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think the criticism is warranted because
I understand.
I understand what Sal was saying today. Like sometimes we dehumanize players, and we
exactly.
I don't agree with the personal attacks on Twitter. Like I saw people like ripping in the shreds, and I'm like, dude, like listen, I can never do that. Like I can't sit there and just degrade a person. But as a professional athlete, you have a certain responsibility to be in the best shape you possibly can. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your team. Did he do that up until whatever June something? Probably not, man. So they tried to squeeze it all in between June and whatever it was, the reporting day of training camp, and unfortunately didn't work out. And then now it all happened. So I think everybody has a part of blame in this. I think he's got a lot of a good portion of it, and the team does too. There's a lot of problems here, but now the damage is done. And unfortunately the damage is done to his career probably because now it's back-to-back years. You're out. There's no expectations for him this year. Not picking up his option. It's cost him a significant amount of money, man.
Yeah, there's definitely questions within that, too. You obviously mentioned when you guys went to the first practice, he was limping, and you guys like, okay, why is he practicing? My other question, like, we could split this in between blame or whatever, but another question of mine is, when they put the knee brace on him, wasn't there some level of concern there? Like, okay, let's set this back about a week. We have time till week 1. But also there's the other side that says, hey, we need this guy in game shape. This guy hasn't been in the game for at least 2 years.
See, and the thing is, once that knee brace goes on, I'll go to you next. Once that knee brace goes on, I'm on the free agent line saying, you know what? This kid's not where we want him to be right now. Let's get insurance in here now before we lose him or something bad happens and everybody knows we're desperate to get somebody, right? Like kind of prime time we saw, like I'm telling you, we saw it.
I think that's part of the problem, dude. Just like maybe there was some like stubbornness on the Jets part where it's like, it's been 11 months since this injury happened. We thought it was only going to be 2 months max. You've been overweight. You didn't show up for OTAs. You showed up at minicamp overweight. Like, how far do we keep pushing the timeline back and giving you the benefit of the doubt when we're trying to get ready for training camp? Like 90 other guys busted their ass for months to get ready for week 1 of training camp and to be in football shape. You didn't. So are we just supposed to let you sit off on the side as we figure things out, or do we let you push through it? And I think for Becton's sake, he probably wanted to try to push through it. I'm sure he didn't want the negative PR, hearing all the backlash on Twitter. And this is unfortunately the result. Like nobody's happy about it. I'm not going to condone any of the people that are, taking like personal shots on him on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. I think that stuff's pathetic. But like, let's call it for what it is. He took his rehab lightly, and it fucked a lot of people over, including Joe Douglas, the fans who trusted him, and his quarterback.
I said in the chat, health over personal agenda. Yes, Becton's trying to prove guys wrong, but as Tyson was saying in an earlier video, you got to save a player from himself. Too often, the Jets in the past years, especially with Joe Douglas, have not done that. They haven't erred on the safe side. They believe the player. Listen, you know what? You want to have trust in your players, but at some point, you got to say, let's err on the cautious side.
Look at what the Jets did. They put Becton back in his rookie year when he's hurt and he hurt his shoulder worse. They brought back C.J. Mosley before. Remember, C.J. Mosley went back in the game. There's no way he should have came back in the end of the season. He couldn't even he was limping going into the fucking stadium. Remember prime time? They were doing the player walking. Mosley was limping going into the stadium.
Dude, Kaliche Osemele and who's the other one that still have lawsuits against the Jets for like Luke Falk, right? He was the other one.
Yeah, the other one. But it's just wild, man. It is what it is. Like the damage is done. Like I was surprised the media didn't really hammer Salah today. They were way too easy on him, in my opinion. Way too easy. And he mentioned he was limping. So, but now it is what it is. And now it's just a matter of, how do you handle it? You go sign somebody and you move on. But the thing is, prime time with these situations, we saw. I think Joe Douglas probably gets a pass because that first year was because Gase was here,
right?
But he was still a general manager when these injuries were happening and how the team handled it. You know what I mean? When they put players back in, I'm sure he's aware of what was going on. He didn't stop it. Last year, it's like they're handling a Becton last year. The communication of what was actually going on, calling it a 6 to 8 week injury and the whole season, and he'll be back in December. He'll be back in whatever. Like, it's just strange, man.
And that more than anything else is why I think his future as a Jet is over, because his agents are going to look at it like every single year you have fucked my client over. You tried to put him back into the game, like you just said before, his rookie year when he was still hurt. Second year, you did the same thing, like with the timeline, 6 to 8 weeks, probably should have been longer, considering his size. And then now he's limping on the field first week of camp, and you leave him out there. So, like, if I'm looking at that as an agent, I'm saying you screwed my client over. And like I said before with the Jets, like, if you're 400 pounds, how can we trust you? So for both sides, you need a fresh start. This is over.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. And it's just like, we were all rooting for him. Now, the weird thing is, it's just that it's at the end of the day, we're all rooting for him, man. Everybody wanted to see him come back and play well. And we don't,
Jets are a better team with him. Of course we are.
And it's unfortunate now.
It's going to be I hate to say it, but that's going to be a bit of a war between Mackay's campaign and the Jets. Like, they're going to, there's going to be some sort of, I think there's going to be some sort of action filed against the Jets in like the future because how everything's been handled. Every year there's been some sort of injury controversy of how the Jets have handled it. I'm not, trying to say rag on the Jets here, but I'm just trying to be realistic. But also, you do, as a team, you do not want to go to next year where 3 offensive linemen are free agents or you have holes in the 3 spots because we were supposed to fill the offensive line this year. Yeah, we were supposed to fill the offensive line this year, and we were all confident. And Becton gets hurt. You have McGovern as a free agent, and you want to extend Fan. You go into next year, I think you draft a right tackle. You have to. And I'll say this. I was the guy who was strongly against right tackle, drafting a Quan, drafting a Neal. And I'm sorry, I'm still against that. I still was because it's not for the sake of optics. Like, okay, it would be like giving up on your first pick ever for Joe Douglas. Your first round pick, you would be essentially giving up on Becton, or you essentially be putting pressure on him. But as I said, I'm not sure if it was any of you.
But Luca, the thing is this. Listen, if you don't want to take a Quanu, that's fine. Like, I love Sauce Gardner. What we see from him is great. If you want to go that direction in draft, then in free agency, you get quality depth offensive tackles.
Exactly.
You spend the money and get the guy in here. So you and that's something before the draft. Like, what you're doing. Like, that's so. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what never made sense. Like, if a Quanu was in play because they thought potentially they might have a needed tackle, well, why didn't you sign a veteran?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Hard to figure out, dude.
It's going to be interesting how this playthroughs. Hopefully, listen, I'm sorry to interrupt, Tyson, but hopefully, unlike years past, we don't make excuses for this, and we actually get the talent and we play through this. I think we're a good team. Let's go win some ball games.
They'll be fine. Luca, nice meeting you, man.
Nice meeting you guys. See you week 1.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right, prime time. We got to go to our new best friend here. This is our new best friend. Before we bring on Vince, we got to bring our new best friend. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Ty? How are you? What's up, Fawn?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing good, tender hands, Fawn.
Living a good life over there.
What are your thoughts on this Becton scenario?
Oh, man. As soon as I heard about it, like, I think differently. I started looking at the OC. Because to me, it's like, I want Zach to start rolling out a lot more often. So with Becton going down, to me all that means is that Zach can't play in the pocket that often as much. So we just gotta adjust. We have the pieces to adjust. We have people that can come in but not really do the job, but we just gotta adjust, roll Zach out. Zach got legs. Zach is a running quarterback, but we don't use him as such.
I mean, you can roll them out. You can bring in the tight ends. You can do a lot of different things to protect the right tackle if you have to, man. I think it's a setback, but there's ways to do it. I saw a lot. I mean, and the interesting thing, I was like the 3 interviews in a row today on WFAN. Everybody said how impressed they are with Zach Wilson rolling out of pocket, making plays. Like,
Wonder why.
That's all they see.
That's why. And that was one thing I noticed at the last practice too. Like, Not to say he's going back to like old habits, but there were a few of those plays where it's like, he rolls out, he makes one guy miss. Now he's rolling back to the center of the field. Like, we don't need to go back to those plays last year where he's holding onto the ball for 8-9 seconds, taking shots, getting killed. We don't need to go back to that.
He's just looking for those big plays where he wants to throw it down the field. When he starts running, I want him to run and actually get a first down, run and actually get some yards.
That matter, just get rid of it and live on for another play.
Exactly. Move the chains. That's all I want. Move the chains. Or once they start respecting your legs, then now you could dump it off to a Michael Carter. You could dump it off to your tight ends. You could change the whole game.
And you're making a good point because there were several times last year where Zach would roll out and he had open space of firm. He could have ran for like 7 or 8 yards and he'd be looking downfield trying to make all these plays and stuff like that, and it's like, all right, but now I think he's got a better feel for the offense. He can probably have a better feel for the defense that he's facing, understand where his lanes are, and that could probably help him out a little bit,
It's almost like he wants to prove that he's this NFL pocket passer where I feel like a lot of his best plays is when he's on the move. Like, I'm not saying he's a Kyler Murray or a Lamar Jackson, but he could use his legs. So let's dial up some plays where he's running out of the pocket and he's making the defense think twice.
Yep.
It seems like he thinks a lot less when he's on the move, where like his natural ability just comes out a lot more. Exactly.
So let's play to his superpower. Mekhi Becton going down like that hurt my heart, bro. Like, because he's a new father. He's trying his best. I want to see him pancake people on the regular. I want to see him. I'm all about consistency, and I want to see him do that. But for whatever reason, the stars are aligned so where he's not being able to get on the field. All right. So the way life moves is let's adapt. You just gotta adapt to it. And this whole big thing about, the season is over. Come on, Jet fans, bro.
It's too early. I was getting that today, and that was like the one, I forget, it was somebody's like, oh, it's over. This is a huge setback for the Jets. I'm like, come on, man. Like, this isn't, the Jets aren't, this is your right tackle you're talking about. Like, you can overcome it. They have depth. They have a lot of playmakers. I have a lot of faith in them moving on. So it's cool. But Marcus, good talking to you, man.
Definitely, man. Good seeing you guys. I'm moving to Delaware now so that I could be a lot closer to my Jets and I ain't got to drive 4.5 hours. But
that's right. And we can tailgate more.
Exactly. And I put in my order for the tickets for the Ravens game today. So the Jets said they're gonna call me in the morning, let me know where my seats are gonna be.
Perfect. We will see you week 1, man.
Yes, sir. See you then.
Have a good night.
All right, man. Good night.
Like I said earlier, if you guys missed it, we appreciate everybody we met on Saturday, man. We met so many people, and it was so cool to hang out with everybody, talk some Jets, drink a beer, watch Primetime cut his finger. It was a really good experience.
I wish I got to hang out a little more. I was busy sweating on the grill.
I was busy talking to everybody. So now, before we go into this, I've gotten about 10 messages just now. I don't know if this is true or not, but we have some news that Steve is wearing a Let's Talk Jets radio shirt on One Jets Drive, episode 1. Stop. Yes, you could see that he's wearing the Jets tank top.
Our show's done.
I got a picture of it. So I guess you can see Steve walking. He's got the big tank top. So thank you, Steve, for being our marketing guy.
You got to rebrand.
It's outstanding. Yeah, Steve. It's funny. I'll have to.
Well, thank you for the support, Steve. Appreciate
I'll have to tweet it out. So Steve he's a celebrity and he's wearing our shirt in the video. So thank you.
That's going to go to his head.
You can ask for some kind of stuff, man. Yeah, I'll post it on Instagram, man. I'll send you guys to it. And I want to thank Joe Musa. Thank you for sending it to me, man, because I had no idea. It's wild as shit. So Primetime, do you want to go to Captain Chaos or the Voice of Reason?
Get through the chaos.
What's up,
man?
Oh, whoa, you're loud.
What are you eating?
Oh, I was just chewing some gum.
All right.
Yeah, I imagine you saw me playing this on the back.
Hey, what the hell is that?
It's an Oculus Rift. I was listening to your show while playing some VR games.
Oh, all right.
VR horror to be exact. But
so what is your thoughts on this whole Becton thing, man?
Yes, it's unfortunate. I'm annoyed, but I'm not gonna let it derail my season. Not gonna let it derail my expectations for the season.
That's good. So where do you want George Fant to play, left tackle or right tackle?
Well, he's shown that I think he's earned his wings for left tackle.
I agree.
Well, we're the Jets, so you earn your wings.
I get because the Jets, the wings. See that? Well played. See that? I'm on to you tonight.
Don't encourage it, Tyson. Come on.
Yes, I like this. Well played. So, is there anything else?
Well, no. The worst part about this injury so far. What?
No, let him talk. No, the worst part is the injury. Let's hear this.
No, the worst part about this is that the worst part is the Joe Douglas haters coming out of the woodwork because of this injury. That just pisses me off.
Now, are they haters?
The worst part of this is Zach Wilson running for his life.
Yeah, but are they haters, or is a guy subject to questioning because we don't have tackle depth right now?
There are guys who want his head on a silver platter because Becton's hurt.
No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we just spent the entire offseason praising how this roster's been overhauled and there's legitimate depth and playmakers everywhere. You can't go from saying that to fire the guy in one day.
You can rip the 2020 draft.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. The 2020,
also acknowledging the work over the last 2 years and saying, hey,
I mean, look, yeah, 2020, absolutely, I agree. 2020 has been a rough draft, not much there, but everything else, he's done that. He's been impeccable on, for the most part. Everything else, the trades, we can gush up for hours on how amazing the value he's gotten for every trade. The 2021 draft, Wilson, we like what we see out of Wilson. We love more, AVT, both Michael Carters.
Yeah, I mean, we get it, dude. Like, we like the draft classes this year and last year. I mean, the free agency moves are, this year's class is very encouraging with Whitehead, Uzuma, Conklin, Tomlinson. He made a quality moves. The roster's better. They're better, and financially, they're in a good spot where they don't give away bad contracts because there's always outs after 2 years. He's been responsible financially and good moves. Now they got to win football games. That's it.
No, I agree. You gotta win football games, and it's not just winning football games. Also, beat quality teams. I don't want to just see wins against the loser teams of the NFL. I don't want to see
AFC East games.
Exactly. I don't want to just see we beat the Lions, we beat the Vikings, we beat the Bears, beat some good teams, beat the Dolphins, get some win, beat the Patriots, maybe if you're lucky, maybe you can steal a game against Buffalo. Beat quality teams. It's not just about winning, but I want to see quality wins against teams that, are among
you want to see them be competitive week in and week out, regardless of who the competition is.
I agree.
I agree with what you said before. By the end of the year, as far as the head coach and the quarterback, you should know that you have both of those things. No, those two things are the most important things for any franchise, right? Quarterback and head coach. So if you have those two things, or at least for us, if we could feel good about those two things at the end of the year, I'll take that. Show me gradual progress throughout. We're pointing up at the end of the year.
By the way, I got some bad news.
Oh, God. What could it possibly be?
So, now, I told you the Jets used to practice in Peekskill. Someone defaced the sign commemorating it and wrote "suck" on it.
Oh, that's just where we live in these days.
Of course, someone's got a bad they carved an S, big S in it.
That's life, man. We'll get over it. It'll get fixed.
Oh yeah, no, it's the second time the sign's been replaced. They tore it got destroyed during they turned the field back into a football field. 2 years ago, so they had to replace the sign. It got destroyed during the demolition.
Well, we got to keep an eye on that prime time. Well, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, by the way, I will be there week 1. My ticket's all set up. I just need to remember what. So where are you guys going to be exactly?
J21.
J21. All right, I'll make sure to get there this time. You want me to bring anything? Want me to bring any ghost peppers?
Just whatever makes you happy, man. Whatever makes you happy makes us happy.
All right.
Have a good night.
Well, I'll see you when the Jets firebomb the Ravens.
Oh, but you try too hard with the jokes now. Trying way too hard. This tailgate's gonna be a disaster. I can see this already. Just an absolute disaster. There's no. We're
gonna get some great content in this tailgate. That's all I know.
I'm not going to any preseason games. I'll stream them. I'm not going to any though. You going prime time?
I have tickets. I was gonna go.
I'm not going. I'll be streaming. I'll be hanging out.
Why not?
I'm sure I'd like to hang out with the chat instead and sit here and just watch it.
I got to keep testing out the grill. Make sure it's ready for week 1.
That's right. All right. We were going to go to the voice of reason after the last one. What's up, sir?
I'm gonna start this off by saying highballs. I'm just gonna beat him to the point.
Look at the fancy can there, man.
Damn right. You go okay, prime time?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah,
a little bit better than I was yesterday. I don't think it's devastating for the team. It just sucks, like, because we were saying every week, like, the thought of this offensive line, if they were fully healthy, and what that could have did for Zach and the entire team, keeping the defense rested. I thought that things could have really gone in that 9 or 10 win direction if everybody stayed healthy. And to have a major injury this early, it sucks.
It's unfortunate, and unfortunately, and I texted Tyson earlier. I was looking up his injury. It's an injury that's not caused by his weight. It's more that particular fracture is either a frontal blow to the knee. Most of the times, 90% of the time that occurs, or a sudden movement. It can happen on a sudden movement. It's nothing to do with weight. It could be a thin person, a small person. It's just totally a fracture of the bone.
But he's been hurt. I mean,
I understand that.
Like it's hard to say definitively that if he was 100%, that if he was in better shape, that injury still doesn't happen. Like, we don't know.
You don't know.
Eating for other areas of the knee that aren't 100%. Like, you can't rule it out, and that's the problem. He could have put entire
based on
just by showing up to camp in the right weight.
But still, the weight is not. It's a fracture versus a tear of something. I'm just saying. I mean, you could look it up yourself, per se. I'm just saying it's just had a bad stroke of luck there. A bad,
but he was
again. It's not to pile on, but that's what we said last year too with Van Roten rolling up on him. It's unfortunate, but
it is.
Shaw Ferguson, for a decade, he missed one play as an offensive lineman. Like, you got to be out there.
But he was clearly struggling most of this camp, though, man. He was laboring, he was struggling, he was limping. He had put a brace on. It's just,
and I get that, but I think that's totally separate from what happened to the knee. Also, you got to say, that he had to be cleared by the doctors before he can get on the field as well from his injury.
Yep.
So there's not enough information out there for us to determine, but from what we see and what we're seeing, his limping and all that, it wasn't handled right, or we don't know exactly. Was it just sore from not being used as much in this particular facet of from a football play versus working out in the gym?
Yep.
We'll know. We'll never know. Who knows? Hey, Kevin.
No, we'll never know. The only time we're going to find out is if at some point Becton and his agent or his representation start hinting towards the Jets didn't handle it properly when I came back. I shouldn't have been practicing, because at some point this can come down to financial matters. You know what I mean? With the contract and going down the line. That's the only time where this could potentially get ugly.
Well, he's definitely not getting a 50-year option.
We're going to find out on Twitter over the next 3 or 4 months. Becton's not going to be quiet about this. At some point, it's going to come out, dude.
I mean, in the beginning, when he first got injured, he was quiet. I mean, I think it was just getting heat. Yeah, but still.
I think when money starts getting involved, you start losing money or opportunities, stuff like that. That's when the ugly side of football comes out, and you start hearing more and more stories.
He just lost his 5th-year option.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
No doubt about that.
There's no doubt about that. You can't. Yeah, but listen, we also have got to look at the fact that now you probably go after a right tackle only for the purpose of it's a cheaper route versus trying to find a left tackle.
Yep.
Two, the other thing we have is we have a lot of talent on offense that we're not going to have teams stacking up, 8 on the front line, because there's too much at risk for a team to stack up, and try to get us, putting the pressure on Zach, because there's a lot of speed. You guys mentioned that before. There's a lot of speed there, so they're going to be, they'll be leery about stacking the front line. You have that guy, but the thing is, you got to have these guys wanting to come here.
Yep.
Brown, I think he's 37. He's looking for that one last hurrah, of being on a winning team.
Playoff team.
No one's signing him more than a year. Olaga, this guy Massey. There's
But would you agree that you'd want them here by Friday?
Yeah, you'd hope, but it
It's
all
possible.
it comes down to the money. I mean, Balaga made 11 million last year.
Yeah,
that's a lot of freaking money.
Yep.
So and he's what, I think 33. I think he was.
Yeah,
I
he's
forget
older.
the age.
Yep.
Yeah, but and it's and you don't know if it comes down to these guys. Okay, they may be in the price range, but they may want years. And
so now
you would give years. We don't.
With the uncertainty at right tackle and Fant still coming back from his injury, do you play Zach Wilson Friday?
Well, I was listening to Boomer and Gio this morning because they were at the camp, and they had Salah on when I was listening, and he said that the starters. This is what he said, whether changes or not. He said the starters will be playing the entire first quarter.
Oof!
That's what he said. Now
I'm gonna be drinking a lot on Friday night, ladies and gentlemen.
And this is after the fact that Becton got hurt, right?
Yep.
So,
may have to go to hard stuff Friday night.
Yeah. So,
I got some nice fresh Jack Daniels.
Exactly. So you don't know you don't even know who Philly's playing also, and how many starters. But we got a good defense. We got a solid front line. It looks like Quan Alexander has made a big difference. Our secondary is, you'd like to stay stout, but they're playing stout. Let's put it that way. So there's games that we can win on defense, and if we could, and like you said, if you get an adequate guy on right tackle, and you add a tight end on that side. You give an extra second here, and all of a sudden you got playmakers. Things can change very quickly.
We're definitely streaming Friday. If everybody's asking, definitely, absolutely.
So,
and if the Stars are playing the first quarter, I'll be hammered by 8:30.
Yeah, and tomorrow might be a different story. They may, or Thursday. Thursday might be a different story because I'm sure he'll say Thursday we're just gonna do. Two series, one series, whatever.
Well, I got a very important question to ask you. I'm putting you on the spot, which I know you love.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the kicking battle, Eddie Pinheiro or Zerline?
Let me tell you something. This is a hard one.
It is. My boy Pinheiro's coming on, man. He's coming on.
Because Zerline hit what was it, 50-something? But then again, he missed the 40-something that same game.
That's right. Pinheiro had a good practice today.
Pinheiro's been more accurate. Zerline's got the bigger leg. But the problem is Braden Mann's doing the kickoffs, at least at the green and white.
Well, that could be they're just trying that out. Who knows? We don't know. I think it may come down to the third preseason game, because these are the last preseason game. No one really.
Let's go, Pinheiro. He makes team getting his jersey, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's money saving, but we were so hyped up till now, and now we have this little downer. But last year it would have been a really more devastating in effect because the talent wasn't there. If we knew last year what we knew at the end of the season, in the beginning of the season, it would have been more devastating. But we have a lot more talent. We have more options. I know he signed 2 more offensive linemen. I don't know.
Caleb something.
Yeah. And the only reason you have Chuma and McDermott, because you got to have somebody. You just can't leave that place empty. You just can't. You got to have some sort of backup.
Wish they signed someone months ago, though.
But were they available? I mean, it's easy to say.
There are guys out there.
But like you've mentioned yourself, he has a price, and this is what he's going to offer, and some of these guys may want multiple
he's playing
years.
the game. He's playing the game of risk. He won last year by getting Morgan Moses. He's trying to play the same game this year. That's what he's trying to do.
And you never know who gets cut in the next after preseason.
Yeah, but see, that I get. But the last thing I want is to have we're going to the third preseason game and the starting offensive line hasn't played together. I hate that kind of shit, man. That drives me insane.
But if you get a veteran, I think that eases the pain a little bit because
but you know that pain that you're easing is Zach Wilson getting his ass kicked for the first couple games. It's not like you're starting off the year playing the Lions. You're playing the Ravens. So if you have an offensive line that's not gelled and doesn't have their shit together, that's your quarterback. That's the pain is your quarterback.
Hey, that Tyler Linderbaum's hurt too, so they got problems on their own in the offensive
But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying, though? It's like,
no, but I understand.
It's a game of, you're playing a game of risk, and that risk could be potentially substantial if you keep letting this play out for 2 more weeks.
Yeah, but it comes down to your scheming and how quickly you make him get the ball out of his hands. That is also part of it. I see Jets trading. Yeah, I don't see Jets trading for anybody, to be honest with you. I don't think he gives up assets like that for a player unless he wants to move up.
If you can get somebody that's going to be a long-term starter that's under contract for 2 or 3 years, why not?
It's got to be worth it to him.
I mean, usually those guys aren't made available anyway. But if you have a chance to get somebody in for the next 2 3 years,
keep in mind he only has 7 draft picks this coming season. He doesn't have that whole 11, 12 like he had these past 2 seasons. So,
I would absolutely trade a 3rd-round pick if you're telling me I got a proven starter at tackle for the next 2 or 3 years. I don't expect that guy to become available, but
then I'll trade Mims.
Yeah, Mims. From what I'm reading, Mims is getting a lot more reps with Wilson now.
Yeah, saw that today.
And he's making it count.
We'll see.
Throwing punches too.
Yep,
throwing punches. Well, it was hot. It was.
Well, he's a starter. Today. He should be a starter.
He got to him, right?
Yeah, a lot of heat got to everybody. I think it was just a nasty. It was a nasty day. It really was today. I'm telling you. But let's be cheery. Let's be cheery.
We're cheery, man. We're cheery.
Let's be happy and look.
We'll be cheery Friday night when we're getting all boozed up watching the Jets. That's right.
Everyone should have one of these. This will make you happy, right?
This absolutely right. See?
And actually, what is in here too could make you happy if you put the right thing as well. So,
Afro, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
All right, guys, be well and relax.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
Go Yanks.
That's right. All right, Mr. D. Every Jets commentator's all talking about Becton. Breaking news. How about the fact that Zach Wilson's looking good, damn good? JD has a plan. The Jets are not going to suck this year, Becton or not. I mean, Mr. D. First of all, thank you. And I mean, Zach Wilson has strung together a bunch of good practices in a row, which is encouraging. Today he was running for his life, which is not encouraging.
And the problem is, like, not to be negative, because he is making some good throws, but there's also a lot of throws where it's like, yes, the throw was great. But if that was a legitimate game, the amount of time it took to get that ball out, it's not happening. He's getting sacked. He's getting the ball knocked out. Like, something's happening. So, it's tough to figure out with some of these throws in practice, whether or not in a true game, if it's still going to happen.
Tyson, did you say with J21 opening day? That's what we're going to be. You want to bring over anything you want, man. Food, drink, we'll be there. Just hanging out.
Meat sticks. I'm down with that.
I'm down with anything at this point. We're going to go to our good friend, Blade. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How you doing?
Oh, good. First, I'd like to say thanks for the koozies.
There you go, man. Thank you.
I got the pair back. So, I know you guys are trying to, wrap it up. So I just got a couple quick questions for you.
Go for it.
First of all, it kind of sounds like we're all in agreement. No 5th-year option, right? Because we have to decide this year, assuming he doesn't play.
No way.
Not happening.
No possible way.
And then another question too is, do we have to bring in 2 tackles? You think?
I mean, well, they just signed the guy. Today, didn't they?
Yeah, but do you want him playing 3-4 games?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I think it more depends on how bad or how good Max Mitchell looks. Like, do you think that in the middle of the season he could potentially be someone that could be on the field if whoever you sign doesn't work out? Is Chuma Edoga realistically an option to back up?
And who gets cut too? Is there a surprise cut that pops out like, oh wow, we can use this guy? Which
that's what I'm hoping.
Offensive line, you never know, but it could be like a salary thing.
Right. Well, it would suck to have like Fant miss a game and we're playing TJ Watt. You know what I mean? And yeah, like we're right back in the same position.
Yep.
Because I think
I'm Fant now to play 16, 17 games. You're right.
Yeah, that's the hope. Like we were signing Brown in hopes we were going to fix the depth. And now,
at the end of the year last year, the Buccaneers game, they guys got hurt and went down. We had a lot of makeshift lineups still in the offensive line. They all pitched in to hold their own.
Right. Yeah, and I'm good with a game or 2. I mean, that's fine. But man, it would suck to go a stretch. I mean, knock on wood, but it would suck to go to stretch with like Connor McDermott. I do not think McDermott is good.
Well, he's hurt too now.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Even when he's not hurt, I don't think he's a quality starter.
Yep, and then that's why we kept we've been saying for months, dude, sign somebody else, get depth. Like when Riley Reef came in, like, you know what, sign him. Dwayne Brown, sign him. We've been saying it for months, dude. It's like, all right, now push came to shove. You lost your leverage because now you know you're desperate.
Yeah.
You may have to pay more now.
And that was another thing I asked you too. You think fans got all sorts of leverage now?
Tons.
Going to be like, dude, pay me, or like I'll be hurt the next couple of games or whatever.
Well, no, it's gonna be like I'm your starting left tackle. I'm your only quality tackle on your roster right now, and you don't want to pay me. You know?
I mean, he's gonna want to be out there to earn whatever his next contract is, whether it's with the Jets or somebody else. But
at left,
he's got all the leverage as far as earning a contract and going into a situation where, like, if you're the Jets, you've got two potential openings at tackle right now, so he's gonna use that to his advantage.
And same with Dwayne Brown. Dwayne Brown has all the leverage, I think, right now.
Well, he wants his choice. He wants to probably get good money and play for a winning team. He wants to be like on a playoff caliber team.
Right. Know? But I mean, he probably's not going to slide into like Chargers and start right now. You know what I mean? Right. I think we give him the best chance at potentially a good team and starting. Like, we're kind of that good mix. Like no one's predicting us to go to a deep playoff run. Like, you're not going to come here to go to try to win a Super Bowl this year. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I understand.
So I think we're the good mix.
It's a good mix, but I hate the idea of moving Fant. I do. I don't, and I understand that people think Brown's a Pro Bowler or anything else. I'm not real so sure about that. But
you don't think he'll play right?
He never played it before.
Right. Yeah, and that's too old to start, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you have somebody else you're comfortable with, you keep Fant where you're at. You just replace the right tackle and you move on.
Yeah,
you already have Fant working with Tomlinson. You already have the communication. They've already been working together in the entire offseason. Why turn that shit all upside down? You know?
Yeah, and I guess the final question is: from here on forward, are we going into next year saying, "Hey, we need a tackle"? Like, we don't plan on Becton coming back. That's what I think.
You can't assume he's coming. Like, you could say, you know what, out of respect to him, he's under contract. You can come back and try to make the team and try to make the lineup, but have zero confidence in it happening. Have zero expectations. If you're surprised, great, but don't count on anything. That's the way I would approach it.
It would be negligence to go into next season with him penciled in as a starter. Like, if
right.
you want to have him compete, earn a job, fine, but he's not coming in penciled in as a starter. No way.
So we're going to pay Fant, right? Most likely that's going to happen.
Yep,
and the next year, say there's a dude in the draft or free agency, are we chasing him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to, dude. You got to. If you think about it right now, if you have Tomlinson and you have Vera Tucker, those are your two. You feel comfortable with them. Then if you have Fant, you get two more guys. You know.
Right.
You potentially have two Pro Bowl guards. That's what you're looking at, and you want to add to that mix.
Yeah.
So if you get a young guy, even better.
Yeah, I agree. And that's just
that. I would think also whatever contract Fant signs, it's not going to be guaranteed money for more than 3 years max, probably.
Won't be. Nope.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that's Becton. He can come fill him in later. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree.
Blade, good talking to you, man. Thank you again for buying the Coos. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing me on.
Have a good night.
Talking, man. Have a good night.
All right, prime time. Now we're coming to the part of the show which is, for many people, the favorite caller of the evening. I haven't talked to him in a long friggin' time, man. He's been tweeting and calling all kinds of shit. What's up, man?
Oh my God. My God.
How you doing, man?
My God. How are you?
Long time no talk.
How's your summer doing, man?
Hot as hell. 90 degrees. In my room right now.
Ouch. That's
hot as hell. How are you guys?
Well, I have a question for you, man. How do you feel about Geno Smith being your starting quarterback?
Don't funny. It looks like he took that away.
How do you feel about the Noah Syndergaard trade?
Good for him. Good for him.
But see, now this is an important question, man. How good is Dwayne Brown? Because you're a resident Seattle Seahawks expert.
Yeah, he knows Brown and Fant. Who's better?
That's right.
You do not want to sign Dwayne Brown.
Exactly.
If you do that, you can kiss George Hill goodbye. Because then he's going to be deja vu.
Yep.
All all over again. Because that's what happened in Seattle.
But is Dwayne Brown good, though?
No, not anymore.
I'll take your word for it.
Yep.
All
See,
right, so
Dan,
that
there you
sounds
go,
good.
Dan. He just said he's not good anymore. So your boy Jose just ruined your dream.
Sorry, Dad. I'm trying to save you from yourself.
That's right.
I'll take your word over Dan.
Yeah, I don't trust Dan. He's too fired up.
Too much
You're having a
emotion.
good summer, man?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, fresh
Got a little
haircut,
sun-
new
you got
headset.
a new haircut. You got a little suntan going on over there. You're looking good.
Yeah, just got the haircut today, a couple
late.
hours ago. And
Nice.
I miss talking to you guys.
It's
You
been a long
guys-
time, man. I didn't miss anybody else. Like, I didn't miss prime time at all, but I definitely missed you.
Nobody missed prime time.
Everyone misses you more than me.
Hey, it's a good thing you guys explain what happened to his finger. I
thought I was gonna die. It was touch and go there for a while.
I was starting to think, well, you don't want to know what I was.
You know, Jose was sitting there. It's like we're sitting inside the stadium, having a nice night tailgating. I'm like, prime time, let's have a beer. A basic can of Bud Light beer, a bottle of beer, no big deal. I look down, there's blood shooting everywhere. I'm like, what is this kid doing? Like, this is amateur hour stuff. And then I'm like, you know what? This is a person that supported Sam Darnold. I'm not surprised by this. And then I was waiting for going to injured list, like Sam did. Like, oh, I'm out 4 weeks. I'm bleeding everywhere. That's what I was waiting for.
The cap was malfunctioned, and I still got it over.
Malfunction. Yeah, never been drinking beer for 75 years, and I've never had that problem in my entire life. And this is what happens.
Other people in the comments on the video, they said it's happened to them.
Amateurs.
When you said you hurt your finger, my mind went into the gutter.
That's where I knew where your mind was going.
I'm surprised Primetime didn't come on the show with a big cast on his hand, like a big club to cover up the cut.
No, that's something Russell we'll do in Denver. Did I say that out loud? Oh,
You did.
Oh
Well, Jose, it's really good seeing you, man. I'm glad you're doing well. You're looking great.
Do you mind if I plug my channel real quickly?
Of course, plug your channel.
Oh,
Seahawks out there. Jose Rodriguez. Always talking sports, always talking craziness, always being petty.
Make sure you tweet us, dude. Tweet us your link, and we'll retweet it for you.
I will.
I got a big question before you go.
Yes.
Is there fantasy football this season, or was I booted from the league?
You're out, dude.
Putting you on the spot.
You're not responsible enough.
There is a league. I will take a vote.
Kick him out.
I will take a vote.
Charge him double.
So you're saying there's already a league set up, and I wasn't invited?
Yep. That's the lasting impression you left on them, man.
I don't want it.
The rat.
I see how it is.
Who's the rat?
I see
You're
how
the
it is.
rat.
Who's the rat?
There's no rat.
You're the rat.
Does the person's name start with a K?
There's no rat. I just knew it. I was like, you know what? They're probably setting up a league. They're probably setting up their draft, having a good time, talking shit
pissed
about
them
me.
off.
All right. I'll remember this, Jose.
Jose, great seeing you, man. We're gonna wrap things up. I gotta be working like 6 hours. I'm exhausted. So.
Appreciate it. Love you guys.
Tweet us your channel link. I'll retweet it for you.
I will. Thank you guys.
Have a great night, man.
You too.
Later, dude.
Later.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. This stream went long. We'll be back Friday night, though. Prime. What time's the game Friday night?
7 or 8. I think 7.
All right. I'll have to go to happy hour first. So thank you guys for joining us. If you'd like a koozie, $6 a piece, 2 for $10, $1 from each koozie goes to Defensive Line Foundation. And that's it. We will talk to you guys Friday night. So have a good night.
Good night.